Morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red Koala.
Israel's Prime Minister has cancelled a visit to the White House by Israeli delegates after the United Nations passed a resolution calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The United States abstained from the vote, allowing it to pass, signalling a change in its position after vetoing 3 previous resolutions. Speaking after the vote, US Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield urged members of the UN Security Council to press Hamas to accept the ceasefire deal negotiated by mediators.
This resolution rightly acknowledges that during the month of Ramadan, we must recommit to peace. Hamas can do that by accepting the deal on the table. A ceasefire can begin immediately with the release of the first hostage.
It's a waiting game following the weekend by-election in Dunston. Mel Usher has more.
The counting of postal and pre-poll votes continues in the seat of Dunston following Saturday's by-election. The margin decreased slightly between Labor and the Libs yesterday, Anna Finizio moving to 47.5% two-party preferred and Cressida O'Hanlon dipping to 52.5%, but the ALP are still in the box seat. Meantime, David Spears is determined to lead the Liberal Party moving forward regardless, possible challenger Vincent Tarzia ruling out a tilt at the leadership at this time.
There's been a serious mid-air scare on board a Melbourne to Perth flight, with pilots shutting down an engine mid-air. Christina Hearn reports.
QF 781 took off from Tullamarine just after 8:30 last night. The flight went smoothly until it neared Perth. That's when passengers heard a loud bang and were told there was a problem with one of the engines. Qantas says the pilots shut down the engine and issued a PAN, which is requesting a priority landing. The plane landed safely in Perth but was met by emergency crews on the tarmac and escorted to the gate. Passengers disembarked normally while engineers inspect the Airbus A330-200 to try and determine what went wrong.
Payroll tax reform needs to be on the state budget agenda in 2024. The South Australian Business Chamber feels so strongly about it, they have put together a 6-point plan for the Treasurer. CEO Andrew Kay says it's a tax on employment and an impediment to growth.
We're about to embark on a significant range of ambitious infrastructure projects in South Australia. We have a shortage of apprentices and skilled workers, so we're suggesting there's an opportunity for the government to introduce an exemption on wages paid to apprentices, trainees and new graduates to help us prepare for the jobs of the future.
2 Sydney Swans AFLW players have been charged with possessing cocaine. Jack Hahn reports.
This is the first drug scandal to publicly embroil the AFLW. Court records show Alexa Hamilton and Paige Shepherd were each sentenced to a 12-month conditional release order, essentially a good behaviour bond. They did not have convictions recorded. As the illicit drugs were used outside of the season, anti-doping rules do not apply to the women. Instead, the AFL will provide counselling and a suspended $5,000 fine.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide is set to train this morning as the Crows prepare to face Fremantle in Perth on Friday night. Brodie Smith is set to address the media ahead of his 250th game. Port's players will also train this morning as they get set for Saturday night's match at home against Melbourne, with much attention on whether midfielder Jason Horne-Francis will return from a hamstring injury. Melbourne is already without key defender Stephen May after suffering some broken ribs and a fractured vertebrae. And the Sandful will officially launch its season at Adelaide Oval this morning. Well, still on footy, and questions are being asked over Richmond's list after a winless start to the season. The Tigers have the equal 4th oldest list and have 26 players with finals experience. Analyst Matthew Lloyd telling Wide World of Sports the club should be looking at moving on some premiership stars.
Some have to ask themselves, do I want to go through what's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 years? Do I retire? I think there's a couple that will retire. Some have got to ask themselves, Richmond, can we get first rounders in for them? Some players will say, do I want to be here for this rebuild, or can I do an Isaac Smith? And can I go? And can I get a premiership?
The Socceroos will tonight aim to secure their place in the next stage of World Cup qualifying. Australia to face Lebanon at Canberra Stadium after winning the first leg 2-0. Some tennis, a good start for Aussie Alex de Minaur in his 3rd round match at the Miami Open, just taking the first set against German Jan-Lennard Struff 7-6. And the first stop of the Australian leg of the World Surf Tour begins at Bells Beach this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast. Mostly sunny and 24 today. Tomorrow sunny 25. Thursday sunny 27. Friday even warmer, sunny 29. Right now it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Are painful muscle cramps ruining your workout or waking you up at night? If you're low on magnesium, you can get painful muscle cramps or mild muscle spasms. Caruso's vitamin K2 plus D3 plus magnesium contains 6 types of magnesium in a time-release formula to reduce and relieve muscle cramps when your dietary intake is inadequate. It also supports bone strength, muscle function and heart health. Caruso's vitamin K2 plus D3 plus magnesium is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Whether it's the latest Samsung Galaxy S24 or the latest Apple iPhone 15, Harvey Norman has you covered. Head in store to sign up to a new up to $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan. And you'll get unlimited calls and texts to standard numbers and 100 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Plus, you'll receive an $800 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up. Tell them I sent you and you'll score a further $100 gift card. That's $900 towards your new phone. With a deal this good, there's some fine print. Minimum plan costs $1,656 over 24 months. Maximum of 5 gift cards per account. Read contracts and rate plan changes excluded. Plan cancellation fees apply. See in store for details.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Now, everything under the sun cops a beating from UV rays, so cover things up, they last longer, and the same goes for you.
2 in 3 Aussies will be diagnosed with skin cancer, which kills twice as many men as women. Don't be a statistic, be sun smart.
Now, it starts with checking the UV, which you hear on 5AA every day, and remembering to slip, slop, slap, seek and slide every day. But there's plenty more sun smarts where that came from.
Yep. Did you know that sunscreen takes 20 minutes to fully activate, and it only works for up to 2 hours? Caps offer less protection than broad-brimmed hats. UV levels 3 and above are dangerous no matter the temperature. And tan skin is actually a sign of skin cells in trauma.
You know what's actually the best hat to wear, I reckon, to be sun smart is this sombrero. Those Mexicans are onto something. Check out our 5AA YouTube and Facebook live streams to see today's maximum UV. Download the Sun Smart app, cover up and protect your skin.
Right now, with Bupa, get up to 10 weeks free when you join on eligible products, plus up to 700 everyday rewards dollars. T's and C's apply. For award-winning health insurance, search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday, the 26th of March. Coming up on the program this morning, we'll be off to Canberra. Phil Curry's going to join us. We're going to learn more about the federal government's vehicle emissions standards a little bit later today. Phil will have the inside word on that story. The Australian reporting, they're going to be significantly watered down, given what Joe Biden did in watering down the US vehicle emission standards, which is funny because we asked the Prime Minister about that a couple of weeks ago, and at the time they were holding fast. Hold. It hasn't transpired, so we'll talk to Phil about that after 7:30 today. Big breaking at 8. Big celebration too. Charlesworth Nuts celebrating their 90th birthday. Brett Charlesworth is going to be on. We're also going to chat with Nadine, who worked at the Central Market stall for 35 years, is an absolute legend of the business. And I can give you a little hint. With that chat will come prizing, and nothing says Easter like a Charlesworth gift. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the morning, plus getting you across all the other big news happening right around Adelaide, Australia and the world. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I've got to say, of the many lilting and mouth-watering aromas you find at the Central Market, the smell of roasting nuts at Charlesworth is
unbelievable.
It's just one of the best smells in the world, isn't it?
Yep.
And I got you onto their market mix. How good's that?
Market mix is great.
So from memory, it's almonds, cashews, walnuts, and green pumpkin seeds mixed with this sort of lightly spicy sort of paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. Not sure what else, but and chili powder. It doesn't blow your head off, but it's just one of the
it's good.
Beautiful combinations.
You're right. Roasting nuts is right up there among the great smells in the world. There's another one at the market that gets me every single time we're there. That I'd probably rank it slightly higher than even the nuts. The smell of the freshly baked bread as it comes past.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it's one of the greatest smells on earth.
I also reckon the smell of the laksa from Asian Gourmet.
Okay, yep.
When you walk past on a Friday, you get that pungent smell because they do a special type of laksa on a Friday called a Sarawak laksa, and it's just heaps spicier than the normal one. Sarawak, that's an island in Malaysia, I think. But it's got every spice known to man in it. That laksa, it's unbelievable. And you walk past that little window there near the camera shop. Oh, I'm looking forward to Thursday.
I was going to say, we've got the markets on the mind a little bit because we're going to be down there Thursday morning. So if you're in the city or coming through, pass through and say hi. It's always our traditional final show before Easter down at the Central Market.
Perfect place to spend Thursday before Easter. And get in early too. Not only do you get to say g'day to us, two yahoos, but you can beat the crowds because it's pretty busy on Thursday before Easter. It's always probably second busiest period of the year at the market, apart from Christmas.
You can get in and say hi and get all that shopping done. Also, you can say hi to us right now by shooting us a text on the Duntons text line. Duntons Ford, why wait? The Ranger is in stock now for immediate delivery. Duntons, easy to do business with, or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream.
Now, wouldn't it be funny if poor old David Spears, so he's apologised publicly, he's flagged an internal root and branch restructure of the Liberal Party to create a factional system a la the ALP. He's lavished praise publicly on Peter Malinauskas for the enviable level of discipline he commands, and he might win the seat.
Well, we said it this time yesterday. Do you remember we said...
Is that now almost the worst case scenario for him?
Yeah, you might have a stellar come-from-behind victory that totally undermines his credibility.
Yeah. Never been so ashamed in my life. We held the seat.
So for what they call declaration votes, so pre-polls and postal is what we would call them, I was told it needed to break, they needed 56.5% of them to win the seat.
56.5. Wasn't it 58.5?
They got 58 in the 1,800 that were counted yesterday. So I don't know, maybe that was an anomalous batch. I don't know, but if that holds...
wasn't it a different batch to what's being counted today? Because most of them were postal votes.
Okay.
And the difference is a postal vote is something that heavily skews towards older people who want to sit down at home, the privacy of their home, get their voting form, fill it in, take it to the post office. You know, like, not many 23-year-olds who are, worried about climate change are going to be doing that. You know, it's very much an older person's thing.
Was that all of them in that category?
I think it was.
Okay.
The next lot of pre-poll. But pre-poll will still skew more to the Libs, but probably not as much.
So
it'd just be a complete miracle, wouldn't it?
So the margin's now 52.5%.
So what's the angle if they win it?
Great success.
Liberal rebirth.
Yeah. Spears leader for life.
Spears juggernaut.
Yeah.
I really can't see it happening.
It shouldn't be possible. I mean, it's a ludicrous situation. That's 2024. We've got one seat with a few thousand people that have voted, and it's Tuesday, and we still don't know the result.
Well, I don't know. I certainly don't want to sound like we're suggesting that the Electoral Commission is slothful in any way. But the article in the Tiser says they started counting yesterday afternoon.
But I think that's all legislated.
Why did they start counting yesterday morning?
Yeah, I think it's all these weird archaic rules that exist. I don't think they're actually doing anything untoward or, they booked in a long breakfast or something or other. I think...
Are they working from home?
Someone's got to drive it and collect the ballots one by one.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, the margin now is 730 votes, and there's still a significant portion. There's 45.1% of the votes to count, and there's 700 between them.
That's a lot of votes left.
It's a hell of a lot of votes.
But most of the votes to be counted are the ones that were cast on Saturday.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Which broke heavily for.
So the lead's 730. Well, the gap last time was 260. So it's not far off that.
No, that's right. We will be following that one over the course of the day, I can tell you. The funniest thing could happen.
The Libs are still saying we don't think.
No.
Like, everything needs to fall our way.
Yeah, it would need to be...
I tell you what, if it is super close, what happens with... There could be all sorts of legal malarkey, or, you know, there were criticisms about the fact that the Electoral Commissioner wrote a tweet last week confirming that the Liberals stating that the Liberals had wrongly claimed the new payroll tax changes were a patience tax.
They'd issue retractions on their social media.
Yes, which is always embarrassing on election eve. I don't know. Is that worth 50 votes?
Maybe.
There'll be a lot of little things that are being talked up as being potentially the turning point.
We might talk more about that a little bit later. Let's take a quick break and jump into the other news headlines on this Tuesday morning next.
Why pick one city, one beach, one restaurant, or one view? With Celebrity Cruises, you can have it all. Explore the best of Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and Asia on ships that are destinations themselves. And now get 75% off your second guest, plus bonus savings on select dates. See celebrity.com/au, call 1800 003 002, or contact your travel advisor.
It's Edward here from Edwardstown Mazda.
Thanks, Edward. I've got this. And it's big news.
How big?
Really big. Edwardstown Mazda have extended their sale with huge Mazda factory bonuses across a wide range of Mazdas. Plus, get a $2,000 trade-in bonus on top of your trade-in price. Only available at Edwardstown Mazda.
Wow.
I know, right? Wow.
Plays a jingle sing.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda. T's and C's apply.
Now, roll up. Elmo's Circus Dream is coming to Adelaide for the first time, and I know Will's excited.
Absolutely. Catch all the fun of this fantastic theatre show with Elmo and his Sesame Street friends, including Abby Cadabby, Bert and Ernie. Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert.
Cookie Monster.
Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
There's also amazing circus stars performing acrobatics, illusions, and creating plenty of laughs too, so expect to be on the edge of your seat.
Rubber Ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Join Elmo and his friends in this very immersive show as they discover their own hidden circus talents. This actually sounds genuinely awesome. With singing, dancing, and much more.
It promises to be an unforgettable day of great family fun at Elmo's Circus Dream in Adelaide for a limited time from the 30th of March. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit sesamestreetcircus.com.au.
Unique, loyal, fun-loving. That's what we look for in our pals. When you're next spending time with your best friends, don't forget some of the best pals you can have. Parafield Airport Liquor Store has your everyday favourites right through to those hard-to-find products. That's what great pals do. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf, so you can always rely on their advice. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
How much can I borrow? Do we buy first or sell first?
What about an investment property?
How much is my home worth?
Wherever you are on your home buying journey, CommBank's lending specialists are with you every step of the way, with all the support and tools you need.
What if I'm self-employed?
Do I downsize or see change?
Find all the answers and support you need. Search CommBank Home Loans today. Applications are subject to credit approval, conditions, fees and charges apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Tuesday morning. Construction is underway for the new Aquatic Centre at North Adelaide. The excavators have dug the foundations for the $135 million facility. The current centre is going to close in August with more than 100 groups and clubs forced to temporarily relocate. The new centre will open at the end of next year. We'll have indoor and outdoor pools, water slides and a gym as well.
This sounds excellent.
Sounds pretty flash.
Where's it going to be?
North Adelaide. It's going to be in the...
I got confused. I thought you were talking about the new wave pool at Aldinga.
No, this is the Aquatic Centre.
Oh, the Aquatic Centre. The old Leaky.
Yeah, Old Leaky, exactly
Leaky,
right.
as it's known.
New figures show that...
Have you seen that there's this surf pool that they're planning near the Port Wollonga caravan
Yes,
park.
with the wave generator.
Sounds unreal.
Yeah, they look amazing, those things.
Yeah, they got one in Darwin, right
They
in the middle
do.
of town.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
that's
fun.
the only one. That's my reference point as well.
Have you been in it?
No, I haven't been in it, but we stood there and watched it for ages. It's mesmerising.
Yeah, it's good.
Just generates waves out of nothingness.
I was in it for about 2 hours with the kids years ago. It was fantastic fun.
About 1 million Australians haven't been put through to the tax office when calling the financial body this year. The ATO has been rejecting 1 in 4 calls due to surging demand. Well, that's good.
How frustrating is that? Like, especially for people running a business.
No one wants to call the ATO either.
No, and when you're calling them, you're probably calling them because, you owe them money, you're trying to work out, if you can pay it back in instalments or, and doing complicated tax stuff online, it's a total punish.
That's a staggering figure. 1 in 4 calls get rejected.
You know what I was thinking the other day? I had this business idea. Imagine a place called the Qantas Travel Centre, which is a building in a prominent place like, I don't know, King William Street, with like about 100 staff. And you can go in there and there's glossy pamphlets of holidays you can go on. And you can sit down with someone and go, "Hi, my name's Dave. I want to go to France. I want to go to the south of France, but I'd like to go via London, and I'd like to spend 3 days in London. Then I'd like to fly to Montpellier in the south of France. But then on the way back, what I'd like to do is I'd like to fly from Montpellier to Bilbao in northern Spain, and then go to London. So can you sort that out for me? And I've got my frequent flyer card here, and hopefully I can get the points and just sit down and do it." Now, these days, you try doing anything like that online, you send yourself insane. You call up, and I don't know how you probably wait for a fortnight to have a conversation like that with anybody. I would have thought, doesn't it actually make good business sense to have places like that make the whole actual experience so much more pleasurable? You'd like the brand more. More people would probably spend money with the airline.
I wonder what proportion of people don't book holidays themselves, though. Well,
I'd say it's still quite a lot. Well, I mean, there's a reason Flight Centre and Phil Hoffman Travel are still kicking.
Yeah, but there's not as many, is there?
Well, yeah, there's a few that have disappeared.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that have been survival of the fittest during COVID?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, that's possibly true as well.
But you're probably right, because Harvey World Travel vanished well before COVID.
Yeah.
And it was probably killed off by the fact that people our generation are generally doing it all online.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's not everyone, but it's probably, I just wonder if they were projecting the business over the next decade, where's it going to be in 2034?
But the whole point is that...
it would be a much more pleasant experience.
The lost art of actually answering the phone or even offering a service where anyone's going to talk to you on the phone.
That's on the way out.
And the ATO at the vanguard of that. It's crazy, isn't it?
Australian troops could soon be armed with anti-drone lasers to destroy high-speed lethal enemy drones. A Melbourne company's been awarded a $4.9 million contract by the Australian Defence Force to trial the system. A $14 million affordable housing development's been launched today to provide much-needed rental homes for more South Australians that are priced out of the market. The homes at Mansfield Park have just been completed and will go to market a little bit later this month. Believe Housing's Stacey Northover says the demand for previous properties has been overwhelming.
The first 20 homes that have been released at Believe Housing Mansfield Park have attracted more than 700 inquiries, and 250 tenants have made applications in the first week of release.
All right, let's have a look at the weather for today. 10.3 degrees outside, so another cool start to the day. It's going to be fairly pleasant, though, over the course of it. 24 and mostly sunny. 25 tomorrow, 27 Thursday, 29 for Good Friday, 31 Easter Saturday, 29 Easter Sunday, and possibly some rain with a change on Easter Monday, 24 and up to 1 mil of rain, but a 50% chance of getting some showers on that day. When the UV is 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay sun smart. Download the SunSmart app. The UV today sits at 8, which is considered very high. Tom Wren's in the studio with us. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to your home. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Fascinating, isn't it? 2 weeks in and, the commentary on the Crows, back page of the paper today, locally having a bit of a crack, and there are those externally having a bit of a crack at the Crows and their midfield. And Port as well. They're intriguing too. There's a bit of commentary I've heard from the eastern states saying, well, what are they? Are they the real deal?
They're two from two.
I know. It's fascinating.
I'd rather be Port than the Crows at the moment.
Well, it's really interesting. So just the narrative, from the eastern states is, and I was watching AFL 360 last night, but, have they really done enough in those 2 games to convince? And you sort of go, wow, they've won the games. But anyway, Ken Hinckley was asked that question. What are you and what do you think you are as a team, moving forward as you, get set to face Melbourne this Saturday night? This was some of his response.
We believe in what we are and who we are. That's really clear to us internally. I mean, externally, you can't control anything that gets said about you from outside. We know how we've prepared. We know how we know what our best football looks like and how challenging that can be. And we think that's pretty good.
Yeah, so, I mean, that audio, thanks to 360, it's going to be a fascinating watch. The next couple of weeks will tell a bit and tell a lot more for both clubs, but there's different pressure on for different reasons, isn't there?
Well, beating Richmond in Melbourne at the MCG is a very good result for Port.
Well, the Tigers pushed Carlton the week before, didn't they? I think the blowtorch is definitely more on Westlakes.
Completely.
Sure.
Port I just feel like they're the victim of one of the weaknesses of sports punditry, which is everyone wants to be the first to identify the next big thing and gets bored of the previous big thing really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it's boring to say Port are a top 5 side.
They've
done nothing that suggests they're anything other than that so far, though.
You could almost be at that planning meeting where they say, look, guys, we're going to need another opinion to get us from 7:20 to 7:30. Oh, maybe we could say something about Port.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That's exactly. And the other fun thing to do is knock down, a previous darling, which is where the Adelaide Football Club's at the moment. Yesterday's darling, today's whipping boy.
Yeah.
But it's just so transparent.
But at least Adelaide have deserved it. I don't think Port have deserved much criticism thus far.
Well, it's a huge game this week, isn't it? I mean,
hey, now, was this elite trolling from somebody on Twitter? I saw a mainstream sports journal said that Ben Keys had been fined.
That's a parody account.
Oh, it's a parody account?
Yep.
Because I did a news search.
Yeah, it's a parody account.
Yeah.
A lot of people got caught by that one.
Yeah, and there are a lot of those parody accounts. It happens a lot in the golf world.
This is for bumping or grabbing the pitch invader the other night.
There was no sanction.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I thought it was rubbish.
Well, unlike Sam Kerr, when she hip and shouldered the bloke that ran onto the pitch, she got
good?
a yellow card by the officiating referee.
Is that right?
Yeah, she got given a yellow card.
I reckon those people who do that, I reckon all bets are off.
Oh,
if you got absolutely poleaxed, knocked out, I would just say sucked in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advocating that.
Yeah.
But in the heat of battle, at a hugely, that was almost like our Peter Hoare moment for the Adelaide Crows.
Oh, it was 12 points the margin. It was the third quarter. Game was on the line. And in that moment, it's only one passage of play, but the Crows
had the ball.
I remember they had the ball and they're about to clear from defensive 50. But of course, then the ball has to come back and it's a stoppage.
Yep.
Geelong kicked the next couple of goals. Now, I'm not saying that passage of play, but the Crows were out. I remember it was
they did in Iran.
It was just, why would you do it?
The fines haven't kept pace. I mean,
no.
You get 20 blokes together and they all chip in a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's I'll be worth
Couple
a laugh.
hundred each.
Memories who last forever.
Yeah.
It needs to be. It needs to be more onerous.
15
is what
grand
I'm
or something,
saying.
or 20
yeah,
grand. Because
exactly.
it's 5,000, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, but I reckon it was 5
No, it's not
grand.
even 5, it's 3, isn't it?
3. I reckon it used to be about that much when I was working at Footy Park 20 years ago. I think inflation needs to play a role here, as in everything else.
Yeah, and the other thing too.
My kids were right next to that guy when he got dragged off in the northwestern pocket, and so said that people just giving it to him.
Yeah, well,
and good on him.
Yeah,
good,
deservedly so.
Do we know his actual name?
I don't have his name. No.
I reckon if I was editing the paper, I'd just for fun put it
Just
on the
flashed
front page. It's official. We found the biggest in South Australia.
Yeah. Pem, I know you'll be following it again closely, and the sample gets launched this morning, so exciting times.
We won't be following it.
There's always, is Sid Draper going to play any games this year? There's always draft implications. So
Very
I enjoy
exciting.
watching the sample.
Got a few names for you: Sam Conforti, Flynn Perez, Will Snelling. Things are looking good at Unley.
The double blues will be up there.
Moleskin Derby,
Yeah.
Thursday night. Get your RMs
Yeah, it all
ready,
starts
folks,
this weekend, so
at
it
the
should be
parade.
fun.
Good stuff.
Thanks, boys.
Good on you.
Good to have real football back.
Gosh. Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderall Garage Doors, gliderall.com.au.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 24 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
There's a maritime emergency in Spencer Gulf off the coast of Port Lincoln. According to 7 News, a widespread search and rescue is taking place around 50 kilometres east of Port Lincoln in an area called Buffalo Reef. The distress call was made this morning from a boat carrying 5 people. The search and rescue effort has been launched from Adelaide Airport with a number of aircraft on their way. The cruise liner, the Pacific Explorer, just left Adelaide en route to Port Lincoln and has been diverted to help in the search and rescue operation. Israel is accusing the US of abandoning its policy after the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. UK correspondent Edward Godfrey.
The United Nations Security Council passed a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza until the end of Ramadan, which ends on April the 9th. It also calls for the immediate unconditional release of hostages. The US abstained from the vote. The other 14 nation members voted in favour, including Russia and China, who blocked a US proposal just late last week. It's had a quick reaction from Israel because the US didn't veto the vote. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has cancelled a trip by an Israeli delegation to Washington for talks about its planned ground assault in Rafah, where 1.3 million Gazan residents have sought shelter. Mr Netanyahu saying it's a clear retreat by the US. In London, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
A New York judge has rejected Donald Trump's attempts to delay his criminal trial for alleged hush money payments to a porn star. US correspondent Alison Petrosky.
The first criminal trial of a former US president will begin on April 15. Judge Juan Merchan set the date after emphatically rejecting claims that the New York District Attorney's Office had committed prosecutorial misconduct. Donald Trump says he will appeal.
This was a case could have been brought 3.5 years ago. And they decide to wait now.
This ruling comes as the former president was handed a lifeline at the 11th hour from the New York Appeals Court. He now has an extra 10 days to post $175 million in damages for his civil fraud case, a significant reduction from the $454 million that was initially required.
The AFL has been rocked with another drugs revelation. 2 Sydney Swans AFLW players have been charged by police for possessing an illicit substance. The Swans say 2 players have been found with an illicit substance believed to be cocaine in December. The players received a conditional release order, which is also known as a good behaviour bond. Concerts are back at the Drive. Tonight, Tom Jones will take to the stage. Mel Usher has more.
Tom Jones will perform in Adelaide tonight for the first time in 8 years. The now 83-year-old's Ages and Stages tour covers more than 6 decades, from It's Not Unusual, Delilah and What's New Pussycat to Kiss, Sex Bomb and If I Only Knew. The Drive will open at 7 with Sir Tom Jones on stage at 8:40. There are still some tickets available via Ticketmaster, starting at just under $200.
And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. We'll start with a little bit of footy first, and Port Adelaide's players will train this morning as they keep a close eye on Jason Horne-Francis. That's ahead of Saturday night's match against Melbourne. He missed last week with a hamstring injury, but he's an outside chance to return for the match against the D's. Many critics across the border have questioned the Power's ability, even after they've started the season with 2 wins, and coach Ken Hinkley says he's aware of that noise.
The conversation is this is an AFL competition that no matter who you play, when you play, they're always tough and they're always challenging games.
That audio there thanks to Fox Footy's AFL 360. Meantime, the Crows will also train this morning as they look ahead to Friday night's crucial clash against Fremantle. The Crows looking to avoid a 0-3 start in what will be Brodie Smith's 250th game. And there will be plenty of attention on the AFL Tribunal tonight, with Essendon big man Peter Wright set to front the tribunal. That's for a heavy hit on Sydney small man Harry Cunningham. It's likely Peter Wright could face a fine or a suspension of up to 4 weeks. And in a little bit of tennis news to finish, good news for Alex de Minaur. He's up a set and a break of serve in his round of 32 match. That's against German Jan-Lennard Struff. He leads 5-3 in the second set. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast. Mostly sunny and 24 today. Tomorrow sunny 25. Thursday sunny 27. And Friday sunny 29. Right now it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes to 7, as you just heard in 5AA News, big breaking story in South Australia this morning with regard to a maritime search and rescue operation that's currently taking place off the coast of Port Lincoln, 50 k's east in an area called Buffalo Reef. We've spoken to SAPOL, who we're going to catch up with officially on air in about 10 minutes' time, who have told us, so 5 people on the boat.
2 rescued.
2 are accounted for. 3 remain...
crikey.
3 remain...
That's bad.
The subject of a search that's going on there at the moment. Lots of boats. If you look on many of the applications, you've got they can track boat movements out. I just had a look at it before, but there's fishing boats involved in the search. There's a helicopter up there. There's all sorts of search and rescue vehicles that have been deployed, boats that have been deployed. So hopefully they find those people shortly, but we're going to get some more information on that from the police department very, very shortly. Boat sounds like it capsized. 5 people on board. The Pacific Explorer, the big cruise liner, was sort of in the area and now is participating in the search and rescue. There's this huge cruise liner that's looking around as we speak as well. But the police are working on this, and I think they've got more information for us that they'll hopefully reveal very, very shortly.
We'll try to find out too about the weather conditions there, because
there
were no storm warnings as far as I can tell.
Perhaps we'll ask the Bureau.
Yeah, we'll see if the Bureau can help us out on that front, something specific to Port Lincoln. Getting a lot of texts on the Dunston's text line about all sorts of topics, talking at the start of the show about how Will and I going to the market to do the show on Thursday, as we often do before Easter, how we love the waft of that salty, oily waft of roasting cashews coming from Charlesworth nuts. Rob says, I'm a simple man, guys. Give me the smell of onions and snags on the barbecue. It's mouth-watering. One on this change of heart the PM has had, I think quite rightly, reading the tea leaves, working out that Australians, with their love of utes, Hiluxes, Rangers, are very energised by the prospect of paying heaps more in the name of saving Mother Earth. One texter here, gee whiz, Albo's so scared of any backlash, he's changing policies at the drop of a hat.
I think it's the US situation spooked them. Because the big line they like to trundle out was, well, we're not even going as far as what the US are doing. And well, then the US changed.
Yeah, which would have meant that if Australia went down Chris Bowen's path, they would have been going much further than the Yanks. Quite a few here about the David Spears. What was the great line from Mark Twain? Rumours of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Mick says if Dave Spears wins this seat, it's going to be a bigger miracle than the Crows making the finals this year. And Robert wants to know, was Dave Spears on the phone to the Electoral Commission saying, find me the votes? Will we need to impeach him? What about that? It's his Georgia moment.
It is. It could well be. Will there be a...
It was Georgia, wasn't it? Was that the state where Trump said, find me the votes?
Yeah, I think Georgia was the one. Feels a little
We're
bit
certainly
like that.
not suggesting David Spears needs to be impeached.
There's another story you're going to hear a little bit about over the course of the day, about which we simply have a Qantas spokesperson's comments right now. But there was a flight from Perth to Melbourne to Perth, should I say, overnight that experienced an issue with one of its engines. The pilots, this is a statement according to Qantas, the pilots followed the procedure for this type of incident and manually shut down the engine and requested a priority landing. These aircraft are designed to safely operate with one engine. Good. The aircraft landed safely and without further incident in Perth. We know this would have been unsettling for customers on board, and we thank them for their cooperation and understanding. As per standard procedures for priority landings, emergency services met the aircraft on arrival. This was not an emergency landing. The aircraft taxied to the gate under its own power and passengers disembarked normally. Qantas engineers will inspect the aircraft. That flight, QF781, was operated by an Airbus A330-200 aircraft, notable because Boeing's the one that's been, of course, the subject of a lot of speculation and inquiry too recently. But this one was an Airbus. That's happened overnight, so there's not scant detail beyond that at this point in time. But an engine went out, which is, yes, what's the language Qantas used? Unsettling for customers.
The fact that they said it was unsettling for customers must mean that as a passenger you would realise that an engine had gone out.
Yeah, maybe there was fire visible or smoke or something.
Or maybe you just, the plane suddenly gets half as loud. Stuff that for a joke.
No, thank you. SAPOL have now put out a statement about this Port Lincoln water rescue with some more detail. Just after 8:30 p.m. last night, police were alerted after 5 people who set off on a fishing vessel from Port Lincoln did not return. So the search and rescue has been going on since then. Numerous messages across marine radio channels alerted vessels in the area who are taking part in the search. About 2 a.m. this morning, Polair located the boat near Spilsby Island. 1 man and 1 youth were located on a reef and were winched to safety. They're being treated in hospital. The 3 other people are being searched for as we speak.
Spilsby Island.
So it's east. It's a
Spilsby
significant
Island.
distance east of Port Lincoln. If you look at,
I'm looking at it on the map now. It's near that. What's it called? Point Bolingbroke Sanctuary Zone. It looks like it's more around towards Port Neal. It's a long way away.
It is a long way away. So we're going to catch up with SAPOL very shortly for more info on that. Lots of good text though, so thank you for those. Dutton's Ford, why wait? The range is in stock now for immediate delivery. Dutton's, they are easy to do business with.
A few smart Alex saying that my description of Qantas before was known as a travel agent. Well, I am aware, mainly through frequent contact with excellent people like Phil Hoffman, that travel agents exist. My point is that Qantas, and one of our listeners said that Qantas actually did used to have the very sort of front of house trip planning service that I described back in King William Street in the 1970s and 80s. It'd be good for them as a brand,
yeah, absolutely,
to reconnect with people.
We might take a quick break because it's going to be an important chat with SAPOL about a developing story. That is coming up next. First, we'll check traffic. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay SunSmart, download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Burst water main causing a few delays this morning at Richmond, South Road near James Cogden Drive. Got left-hand turning, lane out of action there. That's the Deakin Avenue one. Speeds at 40 around there. Bit of activity to Glenelg North, Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove, and speeds at 40 for works at Old Nollunga this morning. Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road. You find early morning cameras, Fisher Street, Malvern, and Grange Road at Hawthorn. OTR's range of barista-made coffee is available 24/7, so you can make your coffee your way any time of the day or night. OTR, making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Your life-changing moment could be on the line. Are you about to win the fully furnished $3.6 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize? This is your last chance to buy tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your tickets stay in more than 12,000 draws, giving you a 1 in 15 chance to win. Hurry! Deadline tomorrow. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. Homelottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
Nothing beats driving away in your brand new Mitsubishi, but choosing your brand new Mitsubishi comes pretty close. Thanks to the team at Agostino Mitsubishi with over 35 years experience in excellent service. Don't miss their Good to Go giveaway. Purchase a 2023 Eclipse or Outlander to receive a $1,000 fuel card. Purchase a 23 Triton or Pajero to receive a $2,000 fuel card. Hurry into Agostino Mitsubishi Charlesworth or their new state-of-the-art Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
At the brand new Kent Town Hotel, there's room for everyone. The Kent Bar oozes with happy times and has outdoor seating undercover for 150 people, while upstairs the balcony bar has another 150 seats inside and out. And there's always the pool room for that party of 30.
Now, Will and I have been in there to the new Kent Town Hotel. It's absolutely superb. You've got to see the redevelopment to believe it. Tom, the owner, he's been in hotels his whole life and he knows how to make your experience memorable, like the stunning 90-seat restaurant that opens fully to the street, where you'll find oysters open French style and more than 400 wines to choose from.
Yeah, you've got to go in and see it because you'll realise there's no wonder they won the Best Hotel Redevelopment Award.
The Kent Town Hotel, everyone is loving this pub.
Recording receipts, but in a snap. Stashing them in your glove box, but storing them online instead. With Xero, it's business but better. Start your free 30-day trial at xero.com.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
15 minutes to 7. Let's check in with the Weather Bureau. Mark Hanalak joins us. Mark, before we get to the weather in Adelaide and over the Easter long weekend, which of course everyone's particularly interested in, we do have this breaking news story that's developing off the eastern coast of Port Lincoln with a live search and rescue out at sea. Have you got a sense of what the weather is in that part of South Australia at the moment? Are the conditions going to be particularly difficult for search and rescue?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. There's a high pressure system sitting right over the top of Port Lincoln, so I would expect we're seeing light winds, light south-southeasterly winds. Could be a little bit cool. Currently the temperature's about 8 degrees at Port Lincoln Airport, and around that sort of southern tip of Eyre Peninsula it is quite cool, with Cummins down to 2 degrees at the moment. So cool conditions, light winds, but as the day goes on we'll start to see the sun come up and warm up to around about 23 degrees this afternoon. So for search and rescue it's probably the best possible conditions at this time of year to have.
Well, that's great news.
Absolutely. So just in terms of the weather ahead of Easter, Mark, it looks like we're going to it's going to be the last little blast of summer almost, isn't it?
Fairly dry conditions, really. Mostly sunny, 24 today, 25 tomorrow, 27 on Thursday. Sunny conditions right through to Good Friday. Temperatures gradually rising as that high slips eastwards. Good Friday at this stage, 29 degrees and sunny. And for the weekend, 31 on Saturday, 29 on Sunday. Although I wouldn't mind just putting a little caveat on that one. We're watching some precipitation across the north of the state, how far south that can come. So just keep an eye on the weekend's weather. We're not quite settled on that just yet, but at this stage it looks mostly dry with temperatures up around the high 20s, low 30s.
Excellent weather if you're getting away for a camping holiday, staying in a tent. Nice sound of rain on the fly on Sunday. Sounds like a cracking weekend. Good on you, Mark. Mark Hanalak there from the Weather Bureau.
All right, let's head to Payroll. Senior Constable Matt Brown joins us. Matt, all eyes on Port Lincoln, 50 k's east, where this search and rescue operation is ongoing. Just bring us up to speed with how we got to this point.
Yes, good morning, Will and Dave. Police and emergency services are currently searching waters near Port Lincoln for missing boat crew members. Just after 8:30 p.m. on Monday, the 25th of March, police were alerted to 5 people who set off in a fishing vessel from Port Lincoln after they did not return. And Police Water Operations Unit members and Port Lincoln Police officers coordinated the search effort along with resources from the local Sea Rescue Squadron. And Polair and a Challenger aircraft from OzSA have been deployed in the area to assist in the search. And numerous messages across marine radio channels have alerted vessels in the area who are taking part in the search. And about 2 a.m. today, Polair located an upturned boat near Spilsby Island. And 1 man and 1 male youth have been located on a reef and were winched to safety by Polair, and they were taken to hospital where they're being treated for minor injuries. And the search for the 3 missing people will continue today.
And it's probably only just light. Oh no, it wouldn't be light yet. So there's probably not much more you can say at this stage, is there, Matt, in terms of whether there's been any sightings or anything like that?
Not at this stage, David, but yeah, things are starting to kick off again, and yeah, obviously once the sun comes up, that will make searching a lot easier for all the crews over there.
Yeah, for sure. Matt, also overnight there's been a suspicious house fire in Elizabeth Grove.
That's right. About 1:30 a.m. today, police and MFS crews were called to Sandal Heath Road after reports of a fire at an abandoned house. The fire crews extinguished the blaze, which caused extensive damage to the property. And no one was at the house at the time, and police suspect the fire may have been deliberately lit. So anyone who may have seen suspicious activity in the area is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Good on you, Matt. Matt Brown there from Payroll. The official sunrise in Port Lincoln, 7:35, so we're still a good 40 minutes away from daylight. Thanks to, we've had a couple of texts, one from David and one from Barry, shedding a bit more light on exactly where Spilsby Island is. It's in a group of islands known as the Sir Joseph Banks Group, particularly known for its King George whiting fishing, amongst other species. Barry says you need to know your way around these islands due to reefs and spits. It can be quite treacherous if you're not familiar with them. And David says it's an amazing part of the world, but I wouldn't like to be in the water there for too long. Certainly not.
If you look at there's the area east of Spilsby Island at the moment, the Pacific Explorers currently doing some searching. There's Admiralty Spirit, that's a cargo ship that's in the area participating in the search. There's a fishing boat. There's a couple of fishing boats, in fact, that are in the area as well. A helicopter up at the moment. So things will get easier in that search over the course of the next 45 minutes. But
pretty much equidistant between Tumby Bay and Port Lincoln, Spilsby Island. It's a beautiful part of the world, isn't it? If we've got any listeners there, we'd love to hear from you.
Anyone in Port Lincoln that give us a bit of local knowledge?
We got a lot of Port Lincoln and Tumby Bay listeners.
Yeah, do give us a call right now on 8223 Of course, you can shoot us a text on the Duttons text line. Duttons Ford Wide Ranger in stock now for immediate delivery. Duttons, they are easy to do business with. Cars are going to be on the agenda in Australian politics a little bit later today. The Prime Minister's stepped in when it comes to the fuel emission standards policy that his government are looking to bring in. It sounds like a little bit later today we're going to get a watered-down version of the policy. We debated at length with car experts and our listeners, in fact, who were pretty divided in terms of whether this was needed and the sorts of cars that are available in Australia versus places in the rest of the country as well. So we're going to learn a little bit more about what was a really divisive issue a little bit later today.
I think the second to last interview we did with the Prime Minister was actually dominated by that very topic. And it got quite a big run nationally. It got picked up because I always get the transcripts of the chats that we have with the PM and also with the opposition leader, Peter Dutton, when he's on. But that went off. And that was when Albo was in full reassurance mode, saying we can reach the target by that date and it'll give the manufacturers plenty of time to make the requisite adjustments. Well, the car makers have been saying, no, it won't.
Mm.
And you know, this is the problem. You don't want to be going to an election, particularly when your primary vote's kicking around in the sort of mid to low 30s, as it currently is according to News Poll, where you suddenly look like you are going after the cars that most Australians covet.
Yeah. Sounds
or indeed
like
own.
The Australians' line on this, that sounds like it's written with some authority and knowledge of what's going to be announced today, seems to be that the ambitious component of it was the 60% reduction in emission standards. It was going to be brought in the next 3 years. We push back more like 2030.
Yeah.
So the idea is they'll still get to the point that they're aiming to, but it's going to be implemented more slowly, which, according to the Aussies reporting at least, was what the manufacturers were telling the Albanese government. Hey, go for your life, but you can't make it this quick.
Yeah.
We're just not going to be able to keep up. And
all the car people we had on seem to say, we get it, it's the way of the world, but crikey, give us a bit of breathing room.
Helen in Glanville's call into the program. Morning to you, Helen.
Hi, how are you?
We're good, thank you, Helen.
What I'm ringing about, and now the candidate for the Dunston for Liberals, and she had applied for a job with Labor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wasn't successful, so now she's standing for Liberals. So
yeah, that's pretty much it.
It doesn't matter what party she supports, or she just wants to be a politician, or...
These are all excellent questions, Helen. Well, I suppose it didn't stop Malcolm Turnbull, did it? He became the Liberal Prime Minister of Australia and was shopping himself around for years trying to get Labor pre-selection for a while.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit different, but it just puzzles me. I thought she just won all the perks of being a politician, or...
It's a real head-scratcher, Helen, that's for sure. I think you're right about that.
How's life in beautiful Glanville anyway, Helen?
How is it? Good.
That's good.
Yeah, very, very quiet.
That's good.
Let's put Helen on the list for when we get our brand new FIVEAA breakfast mugs, our new merch, because it's coming.
Yeah.
The new branded stuff is not too far away, and Helen should be sipping out of a brand new FIVEAA breakfast sippy cup in the morning. We've got a few of them on the way, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got a supplier. Do they have to negotiate rocket attacks from Houthi rebels?
Probably. There's some good pubs in Glanville. I really like the Cumberland. It's a good pub there on the corner there, just when you're heading down towards Semaphore Road. You ever been in there?
No, not that I know of.
They have a good music scene.
Okay.
A lot of raucous bands play there. I was going to mention one, but I realised its name's probably too offensive to say on air.
Are you a participant in the Crown and Anchor's social media campaign to make sure it's not a casualty of the big student apartment block that's mooted to be built there?
I'm not a big joiner, but I joined that Facebook site yesterday.
I had a feeling you might.
Yeah.
I wonder if how many of our listeners are a part of that campaign. It's gotten, I think it's in excess of 4,000 people have signed up to it now.
Yeah, it's big.
It's saying effectively save the cranker. Now, we don't actually know that the cranker's in any danger yet, but it could be, I guess, is the idea of staving this off at the path.
Well, my understanding is that it's owned by the very reputable Jerry Carides. He owns the Carides Group, owns the land, but the Singaporean developer has the plan in the who knows, short, medium term, to put the apartment tower there. Now, does there mean above the pub? Does it mean keeping the front of the pub? Does it mean knocking down the pub? These are all excellent questions. And like, you think about like the whole history of as cities get bigger, you know, there are times, and I don't want to sound blasé about it, sometimes how well sadly that had to go. But there are other times where you think that should never have gone. Brisbane's one of the worst examples of that in Australia. So many amazing places, like, was it there was an Art Deco dance hall up there called the Wonderland Ballroom that Sir Joe knocked down with this giant wrecking ball. Like, Brisbane got utterly destroyed by property developers. All these heritage buildings went in record time under Sir Joe. But equally, you go to New York or any city like that, and there's concert venues that do end up with huge apartments on top of them because land is at a premium. I think the bigger problem, though, is with all this development in Adelaide, how much of it is actually just crap? How many, like, you look down West Terrace, you know, tucked in there behind On the Run. I reckon if you had a rotten building design competition, so many of those student dogs box towers would win. They're just ugly, soulless buildings, and they're almost a bit of a parable for the overseas student industry, where it just seems, let's see how many of these people we can jam in, how much money we can make from them. You know, the buildings are soulless and artless, and we can't just trammel our heritage. You know, you can't look at a beautiful old pub like the Cranker, which has played a hugely important part in the local music scene, and say, oh well, that's just progress.
If you're a signatory to the petition, let us know. 5,069 signatures on the change.org petition as we speak at this very moment. Among them, D. Penberthy. 822300. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well. We'll get you across the latest from Port Lincoln after 7 o'clock this morning. Our resident stats man has crunched the numbers on Dunston. Are you saying there's a chance? We'll reveal what he's found after 7 o'clock. Very interesting. And also, big developments for the KI Koalas. The company has come back with an announced raft of changes to how they're going to deal with that shocking story that was revealed on 7 News a couple of weeks ago. All that and more next.
Live Golf Adelaide is back, and tickets are selling fast. It's golf, but louder. Don't miss this epic weekend, packed with live music, party vibes, and world-class golfers like Rahm, Smith, and Koepka. Live Golf Adelaide, April 26th to 28th. Get your tickets now at livegolf.com.
G'day, Rowie here. Take it from me. Yamaha motors are the best in the world, and the best time to get one is now. Upgrade your existing boat or power up a new boat with a new Yamaha outboard. Right now you'll save up to $1,300. That's $10 off for every unit of horsepower across their 30 to 130 horsepower range. Get more horsepower for less bucks. Visit your local Yamaha marine dealer today. Conditions apply. Promotion ends May 31.
There are electrical safety recalls on solar home batteries, branded LG, LG Chem, and inside some Solax products. Affected batteries may overheat and catch fire, resulting in injury, death or damage to property. Incidents have occurred and caused damage to property. Even if you have checked before, please check again by visiting lghomebattery.com.au or by calling 1300 677 273. That's 1300 677 273.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 24 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red Koala.
There's a maritime emergency in Spencer Gulf off Port Lincoln after a fishing vessel from Port Lincoln overturned. Senior Constable Matt Brown says a man and a youth were found on a reef and winched to safety, but 3 other people are unaccounted for.
Polair and a Challenger aircraft from OzSA have been deployed in the area to assist in the search, and numerous messages across marine radio channels have alerted vessels in the area who are taking part in the search. And about 2 a.m. today, Polair located an upturned boat near Spilsby Island, and 1 man and 1 male youth have been located on a reef and were winched to safety by Polair, and they were taken to hospital where they're being treated for minor injuries. And the search for the 3 missing people will continue today.
It's a waiting game following the weekend by-election in Dunston. Mel Usher has more.
The counting of postal and pre-poll votes continues in the seat of Dunston following Saturday's by-election. The margin decreased slightly between Labor and the Libs yesterday, Anna Finizio moving to 47.5% two-party preferred and Cressida O'Hanlon dipping to 52.5%, but the ALP are still in the box seat. Meantime, David Spears is determined to lead the Liberal Party moving forward regardless, possible challenger Vincent Tarzia ruling out a tilt at the leadership at this time.
A $14 million affordable housing development has been launched today to provide much-needed rental homes for more South Australians priced out of the market. The homes at Mansfield Park have just been completed and will go to market later this month. Believe Housing's Stacey Northover says the demand for previous properties has been overwhelming.
The first 20 homes that have been released at Believe Housing Mansfield Park have attracted more than 700 inquiries, and 250 tenants have made applications in the first week of release.
There's been a house fire at Elizabeth Grove overnight. More than 20 firefighters battled the blaze at a 2-storey home on Sandal Heath Road just after 1:30. The house was unoccupied at the time, and the cause is being treated as suspicious. The damage bill is around $350,000. Payroll tax reform needs to be on the state budget agenda in 2024. The South Australian Business Chamber feels so strongly about it, they have put together a 6-point plan for the Treasurer. CEO Andrew Kay says it's a tax on employment and an impediment to growth.
We're about to embark on a significant range of ambitious infrastructure projects in South Australia. We have a shortage of apprentices and skilled workers, so we're suggesting there's an opportunity for the government to introduce an exemption on wages paid to apprentices, trainees and new graduates to help us prepare for the jobs of the future.
And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Both SA sides will train this morning as they look ahead to their respective round 3 matches this weekend. Port Adelaide will be keeping a close eye on midfielder Jason Horne-Francis, who missed last week's clash against Richmond with a hamstring injury, while the Crows are desperate for a win and want to avoid a 0-3 start. The AFL Tribunal will sit tonight as Essendon tall Peter Wright faces a rough conduct charge after Swan Harry Cunningham was left concussed. Meantime, St Kilda forward Max King will challenge a 1-game suspension, also for rough conduct. Let's stick with footy. GWS defender Lachie Whitfield believes a focus on the little details of their game is behind their stunning start to the season. The Giants have blown their opposition away over the first 3 weeks and sit on top of the table. Whitfield telling Wide World of Sports coach Adam Kingsley has simplified things to get the best out of his players.
As soon as he walked into the club, he set a set of standards for us that we needed to follow, and he said, "Boys, if you follow these, you'll play and we'll succeed."
The Socceroos will tonight be striving to clinch their place in the next stage of World Cup qualifying. Australia is taking on Lebanon at Canberra Stadium after winning the first match last week 2-0. And a great result for Aussie Alex de Minaur, cruising through to the 4th round of the Miami Open, following a straight sets win against German Jan-Lennard Struff 7-6, 6-4. He's been joined in the round of 16 by Chris O'Connell, who also had a straight sets win against American Martin Dam Jr., while Alexei Popyrin lost. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
At Richmond, burst water main, South Road near James Colton Drive. Left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed, speeds at 40. Slow for works at Glenelg North today, Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove, and we're at 40 k's at the moment at Old Nollunga, Victor Harbour Road near Main South Road. You find cameras, Alouetta Avenue, Mitchell Park, and Anzac Highway at Glandorf. Freedom's new season sale ends this Wednesday. Save up to 25% off selected sofas, plus get 50 months interest-free store-wide. Conditions apply only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast. Mostly sunny and 24 today, warming up as the week progresses. Tomorrow sunny 25, Thursday sunny 27 and Friday sunny 29. Right now it's 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on. Touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
6 after 7, good morning to you. You're joining us for the very first time on this Tuesday morning, the 26th of March. Phil Curry coming up this hour. But first, we're going to go straight to Port Lincoln to cover the breaking news of this morning. As you've just heard in 5AA News, there's a water rescue that's underway east of Port Lincoln, where a fishing boat with 5 people on board flipped. 2 of them are accounted for. 3 are still the subject of a search that is going on, that has been going on for about the last 5 hours now. Annie is a Port Lincoln local. Annie, have you been aware of the commotion that's been going on there?
Not really, Will, not really.
Okay, because it is a fair way off the coast, but I wonder if there might be any search and rescues that had been through town. What do you know of the area where this rescue is going on?
Well, Spilsby's a larger island in a group of islands. So there's a few reefs off of some of the islands. You have to know what you're doing at night around them. Because it is a dangerous area as far as navigating.
How's the weather been as well, Annie, over the last sort of 24 hours in Lincoln?
It's been beautiful, Dave.
Yeah, Mark Analate,
it was quite sunny yesterday, but it did come down. It was cold overnight, probably 10 degrees.
Yeah, right, but it hasn't been blowing a gale or anything, though. It sounds like it's been quite calm. Yeah.
No, it was pretty calm all night. So, and I usually do hear the wind when it comes up, but it was calm most of the night.
And still dark there in Lincoln now, obviously. Not so nice for another half hour.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So I heard that they found an adult and a child. So hopefully there's some more people will be found soon.
Yeah, they found a boat, and two of the people that had been on board were found on a reef. So we're expecting first light in about 20 minutes there, 25 minutes. So that will aid the search that's been ongoing for a while. Annie, thank you. Jared Day is a commercial fisherman based in Port Lincoln. Jared, good morning to you. What can you tell us about these islands and these reefs around where this boat appears to have gone to grief?
Oh, look, guys, these reefs and that have nothing to be messed with. At the moment, we've got a bit of a large swell going on, and it kicked up yesterday morning. About yesterday morning, there's a large swell kicked up. So, look, hopefully everyone's safe and sound, but those, they might have come unstuck on one of the reefs out there. Buffalo Reef is a rock that actually sticks out the water and can break. So I've fished out those sort of waters, crayfishing and commercially fishing for a while. And there's a number of reefs out there that do break. So hopefully they're found safe and sound.
Jared, it's still obviously early, and it only became public knowledge not long after 6 o'clock that there was any issue at all with this boat in Port Lincoln. Just talking to mates and that, though, have you heard from anyone yet as to whether this is like a recreational boat, a charter, or I presume it's not a commercial boat?
Oh, I presume it's not, just with the number of people on it. Generally, commercial boats don't hold that many people.
Yeah.
As in, they don't generally carry that many people. I know there's been a lot of activity out that way with Tuna Classic just recently. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they were out there trawling around for tuna. I don't know whether they'd be doing that at night or whether they've just been coming back from somewhere catching tuna. Yeah, look, I don't know the circumstances around the boat at all, to be honest.
Yeah, well, as we said, it is only early, so we'll keep collecting as much info as we can. Jared, good on you, mate. Good to talk to you. Jared Day there, commercial fisherman in Port Lincoln. Thanks.
Yeah, we expect there to be developments across the morning, so stay tuned to 5AA, and as we get wind of anything, we'll let you know. Otherwise, if you're a Port Lincoln local and you'd like to jump into this conversation, you've got some local knowledge that might shed some light on what's happened here, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 or text us on the Dunston's text line. Let's get into the rest of the news wrap for this Tuesday morning, starting on KI. Where we have some news late yesterday that Australian Agribusiness, the Australian Agribusiness Group that's responsible for the logging that's been going on there, have upgraded their Koala management policy, obviously in light of that shocking Chris Reason story that 7 News ran a couple of weeks ago. The good news is this. They are adding a number of spotters that have to start an hour before harvest, and they have to stay and work with loggers all day. There'll be 2 additional spotters employed per machine that is logging there. Improved training for spotters and on-ground communication. They'll be allowing approved responders on the property to assess and rescue injured animals. Investigations by the Department for Environment and Water and the RSPCA too are currently the backdrop to all this, but some changes are being undertaken by the company. Have a listen to Susan Close, who spoke on 7 News last night.
Eyes on how the animals are treated makes a difference. All of this effort should make this activity so much safer for koalas. There's no barrier from our perspective to their starting, but they have to remember that we've got eyes on them.
And it totally failed the pub test, that whole story. And I know that there was a community backlash against the company and against the council. On KI, because a lot of people, and I'm sure that if Michael Pengelly's listening, will be rolling his eyes, but a lot of us mainlanders looked at that video and went, nah, you can't sort of rationalise this one. It was just genuinely horrible.
It was absolutely awful. And look, I think the company should be congratulated for doing something.
Yeah,
but if
totally.
the story had never been run, what's happening there right now?
Yeah.
Koalas are being thrown from trees.
Yeah, it was just terrible. So, you know, and the fact that a rusted on greenie like Sue Close thinks it's adequate is of itself reassuring, I think, for people who are worried about how cruel the former arrangements looked. Not cruel, but you know how reckless, I guess, is a better word.
At 6...
Well, no, cruel's the right word, isn't it?
No, it was cruel.
Yeah.
The video was just simply cruel. These poor creatures clinging on for dear life as their habitat was being mowed down was... I suspect it'll be used for green campaigns around the world for the next 50 years, some of that vision. It was just incredibly powerful. Well, at about 6 o'clock yesterday, when we started the program, we spoke about the outcome of the Dunston by-election. We spoke about it as an outcome and said there is the faintest of faint chances that something miraculous happens, a statistical anomaly that leads to the Liberals staging a late comeback and winning the seat of Dunston. Well, the miracle hasn't materialised yet.
It's partially materialised.
But there has been something of a statistical anomaly. This is what's happened since you've been sleeping. Around 1,800 declaration votes were added. Now, declaration just simply means postals and pre-polls. That's just the language of the Electoral Commission. The Liberal two-party preferred on those 1,800 votes was 58.2%. So the Labor lead's gone from 53.8 to 52.5. They're still ahead, and according to election analysts like Anthony Green, still likely to pick up the seat, albeit it's not definite now. It's only likely. Cressida O'Hanlon leads by 730 votes as we speak. Now, our resident stats man, Ben Jordan's had a closer look at this, and he's had to make some assumptions, because we don't know the nature of the remaining votes. There's more than 40% to go. So Ben says this: allowing for a low turnout in line with the Bragg by-election of, say, 84%,
which it
using
was.
that as a guide, that leaves about 7,700 votes to count. If you split the remaining pre-polls 55-45, which is what the midpoint was from yesterday, and the 2022 result of 52-48, the Libs would win by 40 votes.
What are my chances? Not good. You mean not good like 1 out of 100? I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
I think that was Lloyd Christmas doing his best David Spears impersonation. Do you think in hindsight perhaps the Libs should have held their nerve a bit? Because we've had a Vincent Tarzia statement about whether he's going to challenge or not. We've had a public apology from David Spears. We've had the canvassing of the introduction of a Labor Party style factional system into the Liberal Party. I reckon I got 10 messages from 10 different people yesterday documenting sort of, statements of rage directed at the Liberal state executive and the state president last week over the timing of the Antic v Ruston pre-selection. And this, as Dumb and Dumber shows us, there's still a chance. So they've had this internal sort of bloodletting. Spears has apologised to all the party faithful at the Robin Hood Hotel on Saturday, and they might actually end up winning.
It's like a footy team that, when you see footy teams that have struggled for a long time suddenly find themselves in a winning position against a good side that is accustomed to winning, and they just don't know how to win. They end up losing because they're just not used to knowing how to win. That's what this sort of feels like.
Yeah.
They were become so accustomed to losing of late. They just went, all right.
And start apologising.
I guess it's happened again.
Despite the fact they only lost by a couple of points.
It might well be the case.
Maybe that's what the Libs need to do. Sadly, we can't play this on air. They need to listen to Terry Wallace from Year of the Dog.
Yeah.
They need to have a retreat and watch that video. I don't know about you lot, but I can't stand being beaten like that. Expletives deleted.
If they get beaten.
If I see any of you down at the Robin Hotel getting a pat on the back, being told, nice try, God help me, I'll spew up.
I think the problem is, they might win and none of them are going to be told they're going to have a nice try.
If you've never watched that and you don't mind a bit of ripe language, folks, jump on YouTube. Terry Wallace, Year of the Dog, one of the all-time great sprays.
Andrew has called into the program. Morning to you, Andrew.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Good, mate.
Will, you were saying just a moment ago that you gave credit to the company on KI for actually responding to the situation. I think the only reason they responded is because of that video hitting national airwaves.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So they really, they've been shamed into it.
Yeah,
so really,
I then went on to say, you wonder, though, what would be happening there right now in the absence of the story that shed light on it.
Absolutely nothing, because they would have just kept going just as they were.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, it's a modicum of respect for actually making some changes. But you're right, Andrew. It's the power of that story that led to anyone caring.
Been doing a bit of texting to what they like to call well-placed Labor and Liberal sources. One senior Lib has said to me, why isn't anybody talking about Labor's disastrous primary vote in Dunston? Our primary vote is really healthy. Well, it was 40%, the Liberal primary vote, or thereabouts, which is solid. But when you got the Greens going as well as they do, it sort of shows that anything shy of 50% plus one is not enough for the Libs in the current climate. And then another, this from a senior Labor figure in response to the simple question, do you think the Liberals can win Dunston? This person says, no, I don't. They would need to replicate the postal vote in the pre-poll, and that would be a first. The postal votes are fairly similar to the last election, so pre-poll should be similar to election day, which is the point we were making earlier, that sitting down doing a postal vote skews much more towards the Liberal side than people who just rock up at the early polling centres and vote. And the other thing too, one of the Libs said to me late last week, they were getting worried about the Green vote because they'd been at a pre-poll booth for the last fortnight, and they said so many people are turning up saying, no thanks, I've already got my how to vote card. No, they had a green one in their hands.
Well, 1 in 5.
Yeah,
20.9% was their primary vote.
So if that was their takeout from being at a pre-poll booth for a fortnight, that they felt that the swing wasn't, or the momentum wasn't behind Finizio, then you'd think that would come through in the results too.
So the primaries as it stands, given those 1,800 declaration votes, 41.6 for the Libs now, 32.2 for Labor and 20.9 for the Greens. Let's check traffic. When we return, we'll talk sport. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up your sun protection. Stay sun smart. Download the Sun Smart app.
Thanks, Will. At Richmond, Perth Water Main, South Road near James Cogden Drive. Left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed, speeds at 40. Bit sluggish at the moment for works at Glenelg North, Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove, and getting busy at St Mary, South Road near Princess Parade. Road plates in use there with speeds at 40. You'll find early morning cameras, Beavich Road, Ingle Farm, and Blacks Road at Gillis Plains. Keep your family safe on the roads these holidays. Pop in a Bob Jane T-Marts for a free tyre safety check. Call 13 26 25 today. I'll look after you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Billions of dollars have been given to a UK company as part of the AUKUS deal. Premier Peter Malinauskas on the line. It really is happening now with this deal in place, isn't it?
It's a massive day, Matthew, and one that I think there's a lot of people quite rightly enthusiastic about. It's a really important opportunity for our state.
Matthew Pantelis.
We're going to be building the most complex machine ever constructed in human history.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V, or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tiler, affectionately known as Millimetre Martin. He swears you'll love his millimetre-perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
At Lordman and Pang, our Varilux XR series is Essilor's first progressive lens powered by behavioural AI. Shop today for $150 off selected digital progressive lenses. Offer ends April 3. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Lordman and Pang, we care for eyes.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 7. Just an update from the Department of Infrastructure and Transport. South Road, James Congdon Drive at Richmond is restricted to 2 lanes for northbound traffic towards Hindmarsh and 2 right turn lanes into James Congdon Drive. The left turn slip into Deakin Avenue is partly closed due to urgent SA water work. Does that sound like a burst water main?
It does, doesn't it?
Has a bit of a burst water main feel to it. Maybe it's just pipe works, but if you're in the area and you've gotten caught in it, maybe you've got a glimpse and you can let us know. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line as well. Otherwise, let us know what the delays are like, because that one could cause some issues for the morning peak hour.
Can I just read out Terry's text? He goes,
Please.
gee, that's brightened you up. I'm not sure, Terry.
We care less than you, Terry.
Yeah, we do care a lot less than Terry seems to think we actually really care about this political malarkey. The point we were trying to make, the reason for our mirth is how funny it is that you've had the leader of the opposition apologising for an election that he might have actually won. There's something kind of funny about that. Anyway, Terry, we love you, mate. Keep the text coming.
Absolutely. We're going to talk sport now. $19 Schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau hotel. He started this line of thinking this yesterday when he spoke to us, Stephen Rowe, but in talking about the blame for the Crows' performance on the weekend, Rowie is of the view the coaches need to have a look at themselves.
Players are out of form and confidence, and we're only round 2. B. Smith, what's happened there? Lukey Pedler, the guy's a star player in the midfield. Fogs, I could keep going through it. This is 100% on the coaches, and they need to fix it. Now, I know it's only round 2, Timmy, so I'm going to remain balanced, because I think they can turn it around. And they're blooming going to need to. Have a listen to Fox Footy's David King.
Something has to shift with what they're doing in the midfield, because they are just vanilla. And it's not going to get it done. If you can't break tackles in this competition, you can't play big boy football. And I don't think they're anywhere near that at the moment.
This week it's vanilla. These are people across the border, you know, footy analysts. I've been calling it dumb for the last 2 weeks. It's dumb to not play your one, which is attack. The best team, conversion inside 50 and scores last year.
It's round 2. It's going to be...
What about this
The days are long.
Level-headed, rational Stephen Rowe?
I know.
Where'd he come from?
He started it yesterday, didn't he?
I reckon bring back the old model.
Yeah, where's the angry, raving Stephen Rowe?
Yeah,
let's get him out.
Berserk.
He might be holding his fire, having looked at the Crows fixture with Fremantle away, Melbourne at home, and then Carlton away in the next 3 weeks, and realised it's going to be hard to be really angry for the first 5 weeks of the season.
Well, just mentioning Terry before, I think Will and I are going to have an agree to disagree moment today. Matt Abraham made those good points, I thought, talking about the inflatable church and how, you know, when it comes to respect for faiths, we've seen a greater elevation and a greater recognition and a greater respect, and you see it replicated in the comments from political leaders, particularly on social media, about things like the Eid festival or Diwali, you know, holy holidays for Hindus and Muslims, and we have it was Harmony Day last Friday. It's all about respect. It's all about respect, except for Christianity. So this Friday, go your hardest. You know, Good Friday football, SANFL. They've been doing it for years.
They started it, your mates. At the Sandpool.
They did. But it does strike me as funny that on the one day when most Christians would say, can you just show us a little bit of respect? I think society's just sort of decided, well, actually, no, we can't. It's all about fun. We're just going to let it rip.
We're going to talk about Good Friday footy for the jury that's coming up in the next half hour of the program. It has a different hue because it's a Crows game on Friday night over in Perth at Optus Stadium against Fremantle.
I know what you're going to say to me. You're going to say, oh, well, are you going to watch it?
Yeah.
Well, I am, because I'm not religious. But I'd be happier if it wasn't on. I don't know. What do you think, folks? 8223888.
Well, the jury's coming up very shortly. We'll be posing that specific question.
So there you get all Father John Fleming on you again.
No, that's all right. It's going to be fun. We'll do that in just a moment. Also coming up in the next half hour, Phil Curry in the nation's capital is going to join us. Big breaking at 8 today. This one's going to have you shaking your head. And then a celebration after 8:30. Charlesworth celebrating their 90th birthday.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
G'day, Rowie here. Take it from me. Yamaha motors are the best in the world, and the best time to get one is now. Upgrade your existing boat or power up a new boat with a new Yamaha outboard. Right now you'll save up to $1,300. That's $10 off for every unit of horsepower across their 30 to 130 horsepower range. Get more horsepower for less bucks. Visit your local Yamaha marine dealer today. Conditions apply. Promotion ends May 31.
Are you ready to take control of your My Aged Care or NDIS funding? At Care Alert, we believe you should be in charge of your safety 24/7. Introducing Care Alert, your ultimate guardian with fall detection and GPS location. You can even speak through the pendant. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. And here's the best part, it could be yours for free. Secure your peace of mind today. Call 1300 75 85 95 or visit carealert.com.au.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases.
See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 24 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
A desperate search continues in waters off Port Lincoln for 3 people missing at sea. The alarm was raised last night when their fishing vessel didn't return. An air and sea search was launched and a man and a youth were found on a reef near Spilsby Island around 2 a.m. They were winched to safety and taken to hospital. So far there's no sign of the other 3 who were on board the upturned boat. Jared Day is a local fisherman and knows the area well.
They might have come unstuck on one of the reefs out there. Buffalo Reef is a rock that actually sticks out the water. I've fished out those sort of waters, crayfishing and commercially fishing for a while, and there's a number of reefs out there that do break, so hopefully they're found safe and sound.
Israel is accusing the US of abandoning its policy after the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. UK correspondent Edward Godfrey.
The United Nations Security Council passed a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza until the end of Ramadan, which ends on April the 9th. It also calls for the immediate unconditional release of hostages. The US abstained from the vote. The other 14 nation members voted in favour, including Russia and China, who blocked a US proposal just late last week. It's had a quick reaction from Israel because the US didn't veto the vote. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has cancelled a trip by an Israeli delegation to Washington for talks about its planned ground assault in Rafah, where 1.3 million Gazan residents have sought shelter. Mr Netanyahu saying it's a clear retreat by the US. In London, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
Qantas engineers will inspect an Airbus after a mid-air scare on a flight from Melbourne to Perth. Passengers on board QF781 heard a loud noise upon the approach to Perth last night as pilots reported an issue with one of the plane's engines. The engine was manually shut down. The pilot requested a priority landing at Perth Airport, where the aircraft landed safely. Labor says it's doing what it can to help reduce grocery prices, but breaking up Coles and Woolworths is not the answer. The Nationals, Greens and some independents are pushing for the 2 major supermarkets chains to be stripped of their power. The minor parties believe a greater number of smaller providers would help lower prices. But federal government MP Andrew Charlesworth says there's no evidence that would actually happen.
They really haven't thought it through. You know, if we try and break up the big supermarkets, you're causing them to have 2 headquarters rather than 1, 2 supply chains rather than 1. There's actually quite a big concern that policy would increase prices.
Concerts are back at the Drive. Tonight, Tom Jones will take to the stage. Mel Usher has more.
Tom Jones will perform in Adelaide tonight for the first time in 8 years. The now 83-year-old's Ages and Stages tour covers more than 6 decades, from It's Not Unusual, Delilah and What's New Pussycat to Kiss, Sex Bomb and If I Only Knew. The Drive will open at 7 with Sir Tom Jones on stage at 8:40. There are still some tickets available via Ticketmaster, starting at just under $200.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderroll.com.au.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. We'll start with footy. Port Adelaide midfielder Jason Horne-Francis will be out to prove his hamstring is up to the rigours of playing when the Power hits the training track at Alberton this morning. The Power tackle Melbourne at home on Saturday night. Well, the Socceroos will tonight strive to clinch their place in the next stage of World Cup qualifying. Australia is taking on Lebanon at Canberra Stadium after winning the first game last week 2-0. Agent Hrustic is relishing his return to the team and is also pushing for a call-up to the Ollie Roos side for the Paris Olympics.
I'll always put my hand up for the national team, and I think everyone knows that. So, when the Olympics do come around, we'll see what happens. Obviously, he might not need my position, so you never know in football. But I'm ready, always.
Meantime, Nottingham Forest has lodged an appeal against its 4-point penalty in the English Premier League. That was for breaching profit and sustainability rules. The club admitted surpassing the permitted spending over a 3-year period by €34.5 million, but believed the punishment is excessive. To tennis, Alex de Minaur is through to the 4th round at the Miami Open. That's after beating German Jan-Lennard Struff in straight sets. Fellow Aussie Chris O'Connell says he's ready for the challenge of taking on Aussie Open champion Yannick Sinner after he also advanced to the fourth round. After a great run, O'Connell says his career is heading in the right direction.
This year I feel like I've improved again, and this is why I play tennis, to come up against guys like Sinner now. So I'm super pumped.
He's playing really well, but the news wasn't as good for Alexei Popyrin, who lost his third round match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the Sun Smart app.
Morning there at Richmond. A burst water main, South Road near James Colgan Drive. Left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed, speeds at 40. Slow for works at Glenelg North today, Anzac Highway to Douglas Grove. And got road plates in use at St Mary's today, South Road near Princess Parade, speeds at 40 k's. You find cameras today, Alawina Avenue, Mitchell Park and Doothie Street at Unley. Lunch is sorted at OTR for a limited time. Buy and eat 2 sandwiches or wraps and get the second one half price. Conditions apply. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now looking at 5AA weather, mostly sunny and 24 today. Tomorrow sunny 25, Thursday sunny 27, Friday sunny 29. Right now it's just 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 8. You know it's going to be a good jury when people are calling up already in advance of it.
Someone rang at 7:30. I overheard them talking to Luce going, "Can I please be on the jury?"
Well, you can call up and be on the jury at any time. Some people
it's the annual Goodings v Penberthy Holy War.
Exactly right. Some people,
yeah, you're the one with the religious education.
Yeah,
I went to Godless Marian High School.
Exactly right.
I was taught by Marxists. Yeah, you're the one who had meh. Good Friday, whatever.
No, to each his own. That's my view.
You're a libertarian, aren't you?
Yeah.
You pretty much are, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I think so. When, unless it's a law and order. I take a dim view. I think I have sort of a Singapore approach to things.
Adelaide's own Lee Kuan Yew.
Well, was Lee Kuan Yew among the many Singaporean leaders that went to study here in Adelaide?
Well, that's a good question. Is there an Adelaide link?
There are heaps that have got an Adelaide link. Anyway, we'll research that further a little bit later. In the meantime, let's head to Canberra. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Morning to you, Phil.
Morning, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, Phil. Hey, we had Al on the show a few weeks ago, Phil, and that was when he was very much dying in a ditch to defend the direction the government was heading in on EVs and petrol-powered cars and all the rest of it. But it sounds like he's sort of sniffed the breeze and thought, particularly with Biden changing tune, maybe they don't need to go so dramatically towards that mooted target date.
Yeah, they've softened it. I think the problem is, Dave, is when Chris Bowen and Catherine King, they're the two ministers involved in this, sort of released their proposal about 5 or 6 weeks ago. It was just that, it was a proposal, and then they said they will have consultation with the industry, but they sort of got a bit forward-leaning on it and said this is our preferred option. So the problem was, from that point onwards, any sort of softening of it or watering down of it would look like a back down rather than a consultation, and that's exactly what it's looked like. So they've taken on board a heap of, well, not a heap, from what I could work out yesterday, we've got a bit in the paper today, but they've taken on board some concessions that make it look more like the American scheme they always claimed it was going to be. And then, of course, last week Biden watered his scheme down further, so I think they've sort of done some of that as well. So they could have probably saved themselves a lot of grief just by doing it properly in the first place and actually mimicking the real American scheme rather than, I think they got hoodwinked by the people in the department, by the purists who went for the the nuclear option, and then and it's obviously going to be politically fraught. So. And Albanese's office got involved in this last week to try and sort of help with some of the negotiations. So they're going to announce it all today, and we'll see what the industry says, whether this is achievable. Because what was proposed 5 weeks ago, this is for your listeners, all new cars coming into Australia from next year onwards will have to have their emissions capped. So on a brand by brand basis. So like all the Volkswagens coming to Australia next year, all the new ones, for example, have to meet a collective emissions cap, and then that cap gets lowered every year for the next 5 years. So it's forcing them to make cleaner and cleaner vehicles and phase out the dirtier ones. And of course, we all love our Utes and four-wheel drives, and they're the top-selling cars in the country, and they're the ones in the crosshairs of this policy. So the fear was that the proposal was too quick, and the manufacturers wouldn't have time to, basically develop new cars that could do what the existing ones could do in terms of towing and range and that sort of stuff and price. So,
because it seemed to be like politically, if you line up groups that could get really annoyed by it, tradies, pensioners, grey nomads, a whole lot of people that you don't want to annoy.
Yeah, well, as my mate Pat used to say, bogans are dangerous when they congregate. I'm a bogan. I've got one of those big cars. I live in that world,
Yeah,
I
totally.
tow my boat around and stuff. And
down there tormenting flatheads at Browley.
Yeah, well, I understand it, and it's a lifestyle thing. I've lost count of the number of people I spoke to during the last few weeks, including sort of colleagues who live in Melbourne and stuff like that. So why would someone want to tow a caravan to Darwin? I think, really?
You're talking too many Fairfax journos there, Phil.
Well, there's this sort of resentment to people who have these cars, but they're our top-selling cars.
Totally.
And you either need them for your work or your life. And if you want a caravan, there's no Commodores or Fairlanes left to tow those with. So we tow them with these things. And moreover, governments have been offering people tax concessions to buy them for the last 10 years, so you can't sort of then turn around and say, hey, you're a climate criminal. So this is the sort of politics of it, and we'll just see what they announce today, but it looks like they're trying to sort of make it reasonable. So, if you can no longer, in a few years' time, buy an Isuzu D-Max or a Ford Ranger, then there's going to be some hybrid or electric alternative that will cost no more and do the same job. And that's really how you got to get this right.
Phil, we've had another news poll earlier this week. And I just wondered, do you think Australians are paying attention at all to federal politics? Because there's been some pretty major things that have happened this year, and nothing's shifted significantly either way. For example, the whole Stage 3 tax cuts discussion and broken promise, no one seemed to be particularly moved by that. I mean, we've got Peter Dutton, the leader of the Liberal Party, advocating for nuclear power in Australia. That doesn't seem to move people either. So I just wonder, there's been a bit of a narrowing this week, but are people engaged?
Not really, I don't think. I mean, they sort of were on the weekend. I thought that Dunston by-election in Adelaide was really significant, in terms of the big swing away from the Liberal Party there towards the Green. And I'd put that down to just Liberal voters who just don't like what's happening to the Liberal Party in South Australia and the direction it's going in. We saw the week before that business with Alex Antic relegating Anne Ruston to second. That was just a terrible look, and I think there's a protest. So people are sort of paying attention, I think, but more generally on the national scheme, national picture, I just think with the cost of living being as bad as it has for so long, people really, and this is what the pollsters and the party people have just come absorbed with their own problems in their own world, and they're not sort of engaging on a broader level. And when they do look up, and they looked up a lot last year, and they saw the Prime Minister talking about the voice, it really sort of alienated a lot of people from the Labor Party. This is what Labor talks about: Middle Australia deserted us, and this is why we had to do the Stage 3 tax cut thing to try and win them back, and I just think, the damage was sort of probably more substantial than first thought, and it's, Labor's they've stopped going backwards, but they're not going forwards, if you know what I mean. And that news poll this week, we had our polls in the Fin say the same thing. There's another one in the Herald just say that Labor's primary vote is just stuck at that low 30 level, and so it's not, they've stopped the decline, but it's going to be the sort of brick by brick rebuild. They've got to get that number up, and I think it's going to take them all this year to do that, starting with the budget. And they've got to get people to sort of engage again and realise that Labor's here to help, sort of thing. That's their plan.
Top
spinning
shelf.
their wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. Top shelf, Phil. We'll chat again next week. Phil Curry, the political editor of the Australian Financial Review.
16 minutes to 8. We're going to convene a jury trial.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Easter long weekend coming up. In a footy sense, though, headlined by, for Crows fans, the fact that Adelaide are playing on Good Friday football. Always a big discussion point on the program. But usually it's been abstract the way it's been talked about. It's been other teams elsewhere. But Adelaide fans this year have the decision to make. Are you in? Are you watching or not? We would ask you, Good Friday football generally, brilliant, or blasphemous? Brilliant or blasphemous? Let us know your thoughts. 8223 0000. You can text us on the Duttons text line, but the ultimate, the counting votes will be those that call in on 8223 0000.
You know, all four SANFL games, apart from Sturt Norwood Moleskin Derby Thursday night, all four of them are on Good Friday.
I thought the Sample's really taken this idea and run with it.
Who's running it now? Bunch of anarchists. It's like the Spanish Civil War.
8223 0000. Brilliant or blasphemous? Let us know. Get calling in right now for the jury.
A stack of texts about it.
Oh, well, let's read some texts. Let's read some texts first, just to sort of whet the appetite.
Brett says, guys, I'm a total atheist, but I respect our Anglo-Saxon Christian heritage. It appears tolerance is a one-way street when it comes to those values, and also Australia Day. One here, David, on the Ramadan celebration day, there are many different expectations. I bet you don't observe any of them, yet all non-Christians are supposed to observe Good Friday traditions. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying maybe we can just have one day of the year where we don't need to be in a state of...
Yeah, but it's the thing that this is where I find the debate. I'm not against the idea, because it is the holiest of days in the faith that I grew up in, but I just find it's so arbitrary. The only point around which we debate is football. For example,
are you saying there's all sorts of other things you do?
Yeah, it's though the pathway to righteousness is about whether you watch a game of footy or not, and I think that is a completely ludicrous position. For example, at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, the holiest time on Good Friday, you can flick on your television and watch, I don't know, Judge Jerry on Channel 7. I think Judge Jerry's on at the time. The Nanny is on Channel 9. Now, no one's debating about whether it's appropriate or not to watch The Nanny on Good Friday. You can open a TikTok and watch a bunch of people dancing like raccoons if you wanted to all afternoon. No one's talking about the appropriateness or otherwise of completely frivolous things like that. I just find it curious that the whole thing is a football discussion.
So would you liken it
like
the live golf discussion, where it's like the only people who are meant to take a stand against trading with the Saudis and golfers?
Exactly right. Like nobody's saying your butcher shouldn't be able to open Thursday and sell red meat out of fear that someone might consume it on Friday. Like. Why is football the point of moral and social decline?
So your argument is that the horse bolted long ago, so...
Yeah, but I argue we've always been making those trade-offs when it comes to the observation of that day, and people have been deciding what they engage with and what they don't. I think it's just over-dramatic to suggest football playing on that day was the moment that things sort of started to fall apart.
I guess the thing is, like an AFL game, though, it's a big, mass event. It's like, yeah!
You're trying to get the sample off the hook here, aren't you?
Like, on the basis of their crowds are so crap it doesn't really matter. Like if a tree fell in a forest. I didn't know the Bays and North were playing anyway.
Let us know what you think, folk. Brilliant or blasphemous? We kind of don't allow you to have a middle ground. Brilliant or blasphemous, but that's what the jury's all about. Get calling now, 8223 0000, and we'll get your verdict in just a moment. Let's check traffic. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay SunSmart, download the SunSmart app.
Morning there, burst water main at Richmond to look out for. South Road near James Colton Drive, left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed, speeds at 40. Works looking north a bit sluggish. Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove, speeds reduced there. And look out for works at Pennington today, Addison Road near Hodgman Road. You find early morning cameras, Dargla Road, Paraka and Duthie Street only. The Adelaide Central Market has extended trading hours this Easter, including until 7 p.m. Thursday and 3 p.m. Easter Saturday. Visit AdelaideCentralMarket.com for details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Whether it's the latest Samsung Galaxy S24 or the latest Apple iPhone 15, Harvey Norman has you covered. Head in store to sign up to a new up to $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan. And you'll get unlimited calls and texts to standard numbers and 100 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Plus, you'll receive an $800 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up. Tell them I sent you and you'll score a further $100 gift card. That's $900 towards your new phone. With a deal this good, there's some fine print. Minimum plan costs $1,656 over 24 months. Maximum of 5 gift cards per account. Read contracts and rate plan changes excluded. Plan cancellation fees apply. See in store for details.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Easter week, Crows playing on Good Friday. Brilliant or blasphemous? What do you think, folks? That's the trial by jury this morning. 8223 is the number. I've already been admonished by my mother, who says I'm going to be haunted by my bupcha this week, so thank you for that. Let's
Your
go.
bupcha, your grandma.
Yeah. Juror number 1, good morning.
Good morning. Blasphemous.
Blasphemous, juror number 1, thank you. Juror number 2, good morning.
Good morning. It's the most important day in the Christian calendar, so definitely blasphemous.
Thank you, juror number 2. Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning. Blasphemous, without doubt.
There we go.
Thank you, juror number 3. I think we're almost at a majority. Juror number 4, good morning.
I think it's divine they're playing, but I'll hope that the Crows team goes to church before they play.
All right, so what's the verdict, juror number 4?
Prayer at the moment.
Let us play footy.
Okay.
Let us play.
All right, thank you, juror number 4. Juror number 5, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. I would say blasphemous, not necessarily because of football, but because it's now forcing people to work who probably would have spent time with their family.
Okay, thank you, juror number 5. Juror number 6, good morning.
Gentlemen, I'll take you back to December 1951. They had the rest day at Adelaide Oval versus the West Indies on the Sunday, but they played cricket on Christmas Day. It was blasphemous then, and it is blasphemous now.
Well, that is
overwhelming,
a resounding win for blasphemous.
Yeah.
5 for blasphemy, and only 1 saying brilliant. Should note, quite a few people on the text line are saying get over it, you know. One here saying, would you have a football match on the morning of Anzac Day? Well, you wouldn't have a football match on the morning of any day.
It's not a big time slot, is it?
That's right.
TV-wise for the audience.
The way West Coast are going, they might start playing their games at 5 a.m.
Yeah, there might be something. They might go to the novelty audience.
One here, I agree 100% with you, Will. Another one saying they totally agree with me. Someone says here, Pembo, you said you watch footy on Good Friday, but you're not religious. Do you eat meat on Friday? Well, actually, no, I don't. For some weird reason, but I just don't.
Yeah, traditionalist.
I mainly do it because I really like eating King George whiting, and it seems like a good excuse to do it.
I think another juror, is that what we've got here, or just a random caller? Juror number 7 then, good morning.
Bonus juror.
Yes, good morning. Blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
All right, thank you, juror number 7. Making it even more emphatic.
Yeah. Surprised Matt Abraham isn't called in.
I think they're all Matt's family members that called in.
Matt's parish.
Yeah, Matt did the numbers.
That's right.
In political speak.
Exactly.
He rounded it up and managed to get it happening. Lots of Dutton's text coming through on that subject matter as well. Dutton's Ford, why wait? The Ranger in stock now for immediate delivery. Dutton's, easy to do business with. After 8 o'clock this morning, we're going to be talking about Charlesworth Nutt's 90th birthday celebration, and also big breaking note too, so make sure you stick around for that.
Not sure what the people of Scotland have done to upset the immigration department so much. It's bizarre, isn't it?
This is becoming a theme.
When I heard about this story, and we'll reveal the full details after 8 o'clock, but yet another hard-working family, law-abiding, tax-paying, and you think about all the dramas the Immigration Department has had with the release, albeit mandated by the High Court in defence of the federal government, but the manner in which they handled the release of all of these criminal non-citizens, several of whom have re-offended since they returned into the community, one of them here at that hotel in Northern Adelaide. Meanwhile, the Grigg family, who you're going to hear about in a special breaking at 8, the mum, Kirsty, is meant to be on a plane on April 9. And this, you will not believe, this is like something out of a Franz Kafka book. The reason they're going is, what's the line from Little Britain? Computer says no. It's actually chilling. Like, you know, you think bad enough dealing with the bureaucracy. We were talking before about you can't get anyone to answer the phone at the ATO. Well, that's one thing. Try putting in a visa form and the computer doesn't read it properly. And on the basis of that, your family can be torn apart. It's unbelievable.
And this is at a time too. It is not as though this is a federal government that suddenly has instituted particularly strict immigration law.
No.
We just broke the record.
Yeah, totally. There's people turning up left, right and centre.
In the last third of last year, 659,000 people arrived in the country.
Yeah, we have a absolute stand-up family, Nick and Kirsty. Kirsty, she works at Southern Cross Care. She spends her whole day helping people in an industry where we're screaming out for workers.
This is like the Greens.
It's exactly like the Greens.
With their daughter, who was wanting to work in aged care, I think.
Yeah, wanting to study nursing, yeah. Yep. So, hey, Tom Jones. Anyone going to the Tom Jones concert tonight?
Well, we know we sent up some listeners, didn't we? So we know some of our listeners are going to be getting along.
She's a lady.
You are getting along. Just as some advanced warning, we would appreciate a review on the program the morning after. We always enjoy hearing from fans who get along, and maybe have been to multiple concerts to give us a sense of how Tom is performing. He doesn't seem, his voice doesn't seem to have deteriorated at all.
Oh, he's got a stunning voice.
It's just beautiful.
You know what was interesting? Remember when we did that interview with him? The great interview. He's such a good guy to talk to, and he had all these great memories of Adelaide.
Yeah, terrific guy.
But the one thing his media people, his PR people said, and we wouldn't have done it anyway, I don't reckon, because it's such a tired and hackneyed old sort of question. But they said, look, just one thing. And they weren't like in that sort of Mariah Carey high maintenance way. They weren't being stroppy or insistent, but they just said, look, just politely, please, if you don't mind, can you not ask him about having underpants thrown at him?
Yeah.
Because he just rolls his eyes and, here we go again. Well, then fair enough.
And because usually when you get those kind of stipulations on an interview, you kind of get the sense the person might be a little bit over doing interviews. And if you've done them for 50 years, maybe you are, and fair enough. But he wasn't at all. He was happy just to chat away.
Yeah, he was great.
We had a good conversation with him.
The weirdest one was Tom Hanks' wife, who's a singer, a jazz singer.
Oh, and you couldn't ask about Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and they said the only thing is you're not allowed to ask her anything about Tom Hanks. Isn't she sort of like, we know who she is because she's married to Tom Hanks?
I'm not sure. I don't know enough about her career to know
whether that's
a fair statement or not.
Can you remember her name?
Maybe that's why she doesn't want to be asked about it.
Yeah.
Because of that very reason.
Yeah.
She wants to be interviewed on her merits.
Yes. So we want a Tom Jones review tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely.
First caller through.
5AA News is coming up.
Win a coffee cup.
Right now, in the Upper Spencer Gulf, there is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. By harnessing our natural resources, the state government is unlocking renewable hydrogen energy, and we can lead the world with green steel and copper production, powering a more sustainable way to live. Thousands of new local jobs, a surging economy, and a new wave of prosperity for our state. And it's already happening with the State Prosperity Project. Learn more at stateprosperity.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
Around 2,300 Australian children live with childhood dementia. But where there's hardship, there's local legends hard at work. Little Heroes Foundation is dedicated to finding treatments and, in time, a cure for childhood dementia. They're teaming up with High Fresh Salads so you too can make a difference. Purchase any High Fresh Salads products with the Little Heroes Foundation logo and a portion of the proceeds support children living with dementia. Find High Fresh Salads at your local independent supermarket and greengrocer.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 24 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red Koala.
3 people are still missing after their boat overturned off Port Lincoln last night. 1 man and a youth were spotted by Payroll on a reef near Spilsby Island around 2 a.m. and winched to safety. An air and sea search continues for the others, with cruise liner the Pacific Explorer also diverted to help. Local fisherman Jared Day has told David and Will their boat may have hit a reef.
These reefs and that have nothing to be messed with. At the moment we've got a bit of a large swell going on and it kicked up yesterday morning. So, look, hopefully everyone's safe and sound.
A $14 million affordable housing development has been launched today to provide much-needed rental homes for more South Australians priced out of the market. The homes at Mansfield Park have just been completed and will go to market later this month. Believe Housing's Stacey Northover says the demand for previous properties has been overwhelming.
The first 20 homes that have been released at Believe Housing Mansfield Park have attracted more than 700 inquiries and 250 tenants have made applications in the first week of release.
A house fire at Elizabeth Grove is being treated as suspicious. Firefighters were called to Sandal Heath Road just after 1:30 this morning, where a 2-storey home was engulfed in flames. It caused around $350,000 damage. No one was at home at the time. The counting of postal and pre-poll votes continues in the seat of Dunston following Saturday's by-election. The margin decreased slightly between Labor and the Libs yesterday, Anna Finizio moving to 47.5% two-party preferred, with Cressida O'Hanlon sitting on 52.5%. But the ALP is still in the box seat. Meantime, David Spears is determined to lead the Liberal Party moving forward. Vincent Tarzia ruling out a tilt at the leadership at this time. 2 Sydney Swans women players have allegedly been caught with cocaine. They were charged with possession in December during the off-season. The pair was each sentenced to a 12-month conditional release order, commonly known as a good behaviour bond. Adelaide will be alive with the sound of Tom Jones tonight. The legendary performer will take to the stage at the Drive as part of his national tour.
I just want your extra time and your kiss. Pussycat, pussycat, I love you. Yes, I do. Why, Delilah? If I only knew what I could do to make you love me.
The Drive opens at 7 with Sir Tom on stage at 8:40. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. It's looming as a big day for the AFL Tribunal, which is set to adjudicate on Essendon tall Peter Wright. That's for a rough conduct charge arising out of Saturday night's match against Sydney. The incident with Harry Cunningham has divided opinion and has even seen some experts, including Lee Matthews, call for a send-off rule. Meantime, Port Adelaide will train this morning ahead of Saturday night's match at home against Melbourne. The Power will keep a close eye on Jason Horne-Francis, while coach Ken Hinkley has told Fox Footy's AFL 360 they're also hopeful Ollie Lord isn't too far away.
Ollie Lord will be back by about round 6 or 7, we would expect, and that's only good for us for the future.
And the Sandful will officially launch its season at Adelaide Oval this morning as excitement builds ahead of Thursday night's season opener between Nord and Sturt. That will be followed by 4 matches on Good Friday, including a twilight clash between Glenelg and the Maggies down at the Bay. And it's expected an announcement will be made this morning on the league's stance on concussion protocols. Well, the Socceroos will take on Lebanon tonight in a World Cup qualifier in Canberra. The Aussies looking to cement their place in the final stage of qualifying. To cricket in the Indian Premier League, Glenn Maxwell took 2 wickets as his Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated the Punjab Kings by 4 wickets. But Maxwell and Cam Green missed out with the bat, each making only 3 runs. Meantime, Sri Lanka's belted Bangladesh in their test match, winning by 328 runs. To the NBA, the LA Lakers have put in their highest scoring performance in 37 years to hold off the Indiana Pacers, the match finishing 150 to 145. And Aussie Daniel Ricciardo insists his Formula One form for Red Bull's second team will improve. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
First water main to look out for today at Richmond. That's on South Road near James Cogden Drive, causing a few delays. Sluggish at the moment at Glenelg North, Anzac Highway near Pine Avenue. And got some activity at Dry Creeks on the north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. Starting to get busy, Anzac Highway at Ashford with the Camera-Duthie Street at Unley. Went over $1.2 billion in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in just a few hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast and warming up as the week progresses. Mostly sunny and 24 today. Tomorrow sunny 25. Thursday sunny 27. And Friday sunny 29. Right now it's just 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's a beautiful day.
Up there now, and the search continues for 3 people missing among 5 on a boat that came to grief east of Port Lincoln. We're going to speak with a local and just get a sense of the weather now, and indeed someone with a bit of knowledge about the area where the boat came into trouble. As we've spoken to Port Lincoln locals throughout the morning, they've all told us the reefs in this area, if you go out there and you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself into strife. Interestingly, the 2 people that were rescued found themselves on a reef.
Yeah.
They were located, the boat was located as well. SAPOL have been conducting a search, the SES, and indeed too the Pacific Explorer, the big cruise ship there that has, I think, thousands of people on board at the moment, is part of the search also. So we'll get the latest for you on that in about 10 minutes' time.
Well, as we mentioned before the break, yet another hard-working, law-abiding South Australian family is facing being split by the Immigration Department. And curiously, it is exactly a year ago today, March 26, when Mark Green, the Scottish electrician, found out that he was going to be allowed to stay in Australia. Well, now it's the Grigg family who are hoping for some kind of ministerial intervention on their behalf. We have Nick and Kirsty Grigg on the line now. Nick is an Aussie citizen. Kirsty is the Scot who has landed herself into strife. Guys, thank you so much for talking to us this morning, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last week or so as I've been working on this story. We'll start with you if we can, Kirsty. Tell us a bit about yourself. I understand that you're a very highly regarded staff member at Southern Cross Care who do a great job looking after older people here in South Australia. The prospect of being sent back to Scotland must be quite a confronting one for you.
Yes, it is indeed. It's devastating, to be honest. I've got a great job at Southern Cross Care in the home care package department. So we're looking after all the elderly people with home care packages. It's a fantastic place to work, and my employer has been so supportive while all this has been going on. It's the best job I've ever had. I don't want to lose it, and I enjoy taking care of the elderly people. It's fantastic. So this news is it's just devastating.
So you and Nick, you got married in 2003 and you went to live in Scotland with your family, and sadly, after your parents passed away, you moved to Adelaide in 2021 to care for Nick's ageing parents. So you've really made your lives here in Adelaide, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. I mean, we sold our house in Scotland to fund our move here, which you can imagine is very expensive. We shipped our dog over, all our stuff from our house. It cost us basically everything we made on our house to come here. And the main reason we came here was to look after Nick's parents, who are both in their mid-80s. So obviously this, it's devastating for us, because if I have to go home for a year to a year and a half to reapply and wait, we likely will all have to go. It's going to be the end of it. We couldn't be apart for a year to a year and a half, no way. So it means that it would take us away from Nick's parents, and we wouldn't be able to take care of them. Yeah.
I'll jump over to you now, Nick, because, mate, the circumstances under which all this have happened, it sounds like a bit of a chilling insight into the remoteness of bureaucracy. So you were trying to fill in what's called a partner visa subclass 820 form. So you're using one of those save and close forms on the computer. And what happened next?
Well, I didn't actually get to my point to fill out my part. Kirsty's been filling most of hers, the application for herself, and I was yet to sort of upload my side of it. So my side of the partner visa was completely missing. So the application, was part finished. I'm aware of the save and close buttons. I'm aware of the submit buttons, and often, it's hard to determine the difference between the two sometimes, because sometimes it's hidden and sometimes it's not. So it's just been a complete mess, and I think just a couple of the mistakes have just snowballed to the situation that we're in now, and it's just so difficult to get to speak with anyone from immigration that can actually sort of help. It's I understand they probably have a lot of work going on and a lot of applications to process, but just being able to speak with someone about our situation and sort of the events that unfolded has been very difficult.
Because you only found out inadvertently through Medicare, because you've got correspondence from Medicare saying that Kirsty and your children were no longer eligible for Medicare benefits, and after that you contacted immigration and you found out that the email saying that Kirsty's application had been rejected had been sent to your spam folder. So that was over Christmas when the immigration department was closed. You had to wait 4 days to even talk to anybody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, that's the first we knew of it was the letter in the mail from Medicare. It's just stating that at the end of the month, the healthcare wouldn't be available for Kirsty and their two kids. So that was the beginning of January. And then I rang immigration and said, look, what's going on? And they said, well, you've been rejected. Check your emails and read what it says. So we went through all of the emails, couldn't find anything. So we trolled through, and unlikely that we do it other time, but we trolled through their spam folder, and there it was. So.
Unbelievable. Well, I think Nick and Kirsty, the good news is that since we've been talking to you and you know, as I told you yesterday, both the Premier Peter Malinauskas and also the Shadow Foreign Minister Simon Birmingham, they're now not only aware of your case, but they have written to the Minister, Andrew Giles, who showed his capacity for good judgment and compassion last year when he intervened in the case of Mark Green. So hopefully by getting it under his nose, with the April 9 deadline ticking, and we're going to keep paying attention to this story, let's hope that it doesn't come to that, because your wife's exactly the kind of person we want here in South Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it would be awful if I had to leave. You know, we're crying out for workers in aged care. We can never get enough. You know, it's hard to recruit. And to send me away, it just, you know, it defeats the purpose. I just don't understand if I get sent home. Yeah, it's Southern Cross Care do a fantastic job, and it's hard to get good workers, so it just doesn't make sense.
No, it makes no sense at all. Nick and Kirsty, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll stay in touch on this story. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Not at all.
Got a texter on the Dunston text line during that discussion. Sharon says, how dare this government let out criminal detainees and then have the nerve to deport this hard-working couple? Well, Kirsty anyway. Shame on the immigration department. Sort of sums it up.
Zero sense.
Sums it up in a nutshell, doesn't it?
But it's so frightening to think that's the way, the clunkiness of the bureaucracy.
The spam folder.
But then you'd be getting the Medicare letter going, hang on, what? Why has that happened?
It's the lack of safeguards.
Yeah, but, you know, it's out in the public domain now, and good on Burmo and Malley for jumping on board, because, you know, these
How can this happen?
Well, you know, the scary thing is, are there cases where it does happen, where people who don't ever engage with the media or do what Mark did and end up getting championed by other people in politics? Because politics, so much about politics, and this is why people make so much money as lobbyists, knowing who to call, knowing how to contact someone.
Yeah, there's advocacy groups for people with refugee claims and so forth that are well represented to government, but there doesn't seem to be any organised body that deals with the sudden deportation of
hard-working taxpayers.
Hard-working taxpayers.
I know. Well, over to Andrew Giles. I reckon he'll fix it.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully if he does the right thing. Now, let's have a look at the fuel situation before we return to Port Lincoln. We're just making some calls as we speak. We'll be heading there again very shortly as that search and rescue situation continues. It's been going on now for about the last 6 hours. 3 people still unaccounted for. Fuel watch first, though. Find out when the fuel is at its cheapest and where to fill up with the free RAA app. The cheap spots we've been able to find: the Caltex OG Road Clemsig, $1.79.5. The Liberty Marion Road Marion, $1.79.5 also. I don't like when this is considered cheap, but for this morning it is. The ex-convenience Hamilton Terrace Newton, $1.89.5. That's not a good sign.
That's meant to be cheap, isn't it, these days?
The cheapest diesel, the United Main North Road Paraka, is currently at $1.84.3. A little bit earlier in the program, we caught up with Matt Brown from SafePol. Obviously, police conducting the search, but they're being assisted by fishermen. They are being assisted by the SES. They are being assisted by the Pacific Explorer, a cruise ship there at the moment that was diverted from its course to try and find 3 people unaccounted for off of Port Lincoln. Have a listen to Matt Brown with all the key details earlier in the show.
Police and emergency services are currently searching waters near Port Lincoln for missing boat crew members. Just after 8:30 p.m. on Monday the 25th of March, police were alerted to 5 people who set off in a fishing vessel from Port Lincoln after they did not return. And Police Water Operations Unit members and Port Lincoln Police officers coordinated the search effort along with resources from the local Sea Rescue Squadron. And Polair and the Challenger aircraft from OzSA have been deployed in the area to assist in the search. And numerous messages across marine radio channels have alerted vessels in the area who are taking part in the search. And about 2 a.m. today, Polair located an upturned boat near Spilsby Island. And 1 man and 1 male youth have been located on a reef and were winched to safety by Polair. And they were taken to hospital where they're being treated for minor injuries. And the search for the 3 missing people will continue today.
Yeah, the search is ongoing now. As we mentioned, about just under an hour ago, the sun is up in Port Lincoln. So that was a big factor in terms of making that search a little bit easier. Spilsby Island, that area too, is potentially treacherous for people that aren't familiar with it. We'll chat with Craig Haslam's a tour operator in the area just after the break to talk to us about that area, what the weather's there is like at the moment, and get some local knowledge about a search that we hope has a happy ending very soon. 19 after 8, let's check traffic when the UV's 3 and above. Cover up, use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will. At Richmond, burst water main South Road near James Cogden Drive, causing delays. Left-hand turning lane on Deacon Avenue was closed there. Glandore, truck v car at Anzac Highway near the South Road underpass, and slow for works at Glenelg North, Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove, speeds at 40. Cameras today, got a few from about to Crossroad Motorbank, another one Doothie Street at Unley. Shell Card customers in South Australia can use their Shell Card at all 23 Liberty service stations across the state. Visit shell.com.au/fuel. Find a fuel nearest station. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Travis both playing 350th.
Can I just ask the Port people a question? So, Travis Boak, the consummate professional, he is universally admired. If you go to any Crows, you know what? We wish we had him.
Yep.
He drives standards
and doesn't look like stopping.
The 5AA Sports Show.
The G will actually suit him.
Just a champion bloke.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Tina. The Tina Turner musical is rolling into Adelaide next month. This heart-pumping production celebrates the inspiring life story of Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll. Featuring more than 20 of her iconic songs, Tina is guaranteed to raise the roof at the Festival Theatre. Opens April 24. Book at Ticketek. It's simply the best.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 after 8, we're just getting word now. There will be a press conference in about 35 minutes' time at Port Lincoln at the police station there on Liverpool Street, where the officer in charge of the Air and Western Local Service Area, Superintendent Paul Barr, will speak to the media about the water search that is currently underway. We spoke a moment ago about the sometime treacherous, or certainly treacherous to people that aren't familiar with it, reef system that exists east of Port Lincoln. Here's Jared Day, who's a commercial fisher who knows the area well. He spoke to us on 5AA Breakfast earlier.
These reefs and that have nothing to be messed with. At the moment, we've got a bit of a large swell going on, and it kicked up yesterday morning. About yesterday morning, there's a large swell kicked up. So, look, hopefully everyone's safe and sound, but those, they might have come unstuck on one of the reefs out there. Buffalo Reef is a rock that actually sticks out the water and can break, so I've fished out those sort of waters, crayfishing and commercially fishing for a while, and there's a number of reefs out there that do break. So hopefully they're found safe and sound.
The huge contingent of ships that is currently involved in the search, both official and unofficial, the SES, SAPOL, the choppers up, but also there are small fishing boats. There are things like two very large vessels like the Pacific Explorer. Hazzy runs Untamed Escapes out of Port Lincoln's a tour operator there. Hazzy, you've got people on board that ship right now that you're expecting to come and do a tour, and they've suddenly taken an impromptu turn into being volunteers as part of a search.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, it is. We got some, when I was walking the dog this morning on beautiful Boston Bay, we got a couple of texts started to come through, and then more and more messages start to come through, and we just got some advice then that the cruise ship will be out there all day, and they'll come in tonight. So the activities we got planned for today, we have to reschedule for tomorrow. But at the end of the day, it's you just like the last caller said, you just hope that they can find everyone.
So what will this cruise ship actually be doing, Hazzy? Are they just going to be, I guess, sailing around looking?
Yeah, look, I don't know. The coordinator just rang all the suppliers in Port Lincoln that do tours, that do cruise activities for the cruise ships, and just said, look, initially, hey, we've been delayed, and the second message was that what's going to happen today is now going to happen tomorrow. So that's really all I know from that side. But logistically, we just change and we just roll with it when it comes in, and hopefully give them the best time that we can.
There must be thousands of people on that ship. Is this a big tourist time of year in Lincoln?
It is. This is actually the last of the cruise ship season, so this is the very last thing. I think we've had 14 for the season, and every year it tends to grow and grow, and more activities are offered, etc., from the cruise ship. But it's a beautiful time to be in Lincoln. You know, the weather's been really good, and yeah, it's nice to see that big boat come in and pull up at the wharf, and all of a sudden the local businesses and the community all then are able to, I suppose, share the place that they love and they live.
Now the sun's up in Lincoln. What kind of morning is it?
It was wonderful at 6:30. I was walking the foreshore of Boston Bay, and it was still starting to rise, and it is a beautiful morning. But I really hope that they can find all the survivors and it can be a happy ending, and we'll just show them the best of Port Lincoln tomorrow.
Are you as a local familiar with this Spilsby Bay?
I do a little bit, but not as much as I'd like. I tend to be self-employed and hardly get out unless someone gives me an offer to come fishing. But look, the reefs are pretty notorious there. And like the commercial fishermen said, you know, you need to know. I tend to do a little bit more in the bay. I'm a little bit safer in there, but I'm also in the hands of other people that are skippers, so I just go for the ride. But yeah, there's been lots over the years that's been damaged there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hazzy, we appreciate your time, and as you said, we too are hoping that this story does have a happy ending. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, we'll learn more in about 34 minutes' time at that press conference at Port Lincoln, the police station there. Yuri's called into the program with a traffic update. Morning, Yuri.
Good, geez. How are you, boys?
Yeah, good, Yuri.
How you going?
I tell you what, you would not believe it. You got to get your little your reporting girl out there, corner of Hutt Street and Angus Street. Right across the intersection, the road has physically broken up. There's something bubbling underneath. It's just ripped the road open, and cars are still going over the top of it. It's an absolute disaster.
What, like a burst water main?
Oh, yeah. And the whole road's broken up. It's just broken up. It's the only word I can say, broken up. No, broken up. It's an absolute disaster.
Where are you exactly, Yuri?
I just drove over the intersection of Hutt Street and Angus Street.
Okay.
Right across the intersection, the whole road has physically broken up.
Okay, well, thank you.
no.
We're going to send Sam Daddo down to the scene.
Hutt and Angus.
And get a sense of what in the heck's going on. Sounds like the Earth's opened up.
Like one of those things in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, that's right. We'll find out more. But if you're an eyewitness of what Yuri's just talked about, give us a call. 8223000. What is going on at the corner of Hutt Street and Angus Street in the CBD? The road has opened up. Let us know. If you're not in a position to call, text us on the Duttons text line. Duttons Ford, why wait? The range is in stock now for immediate delivery. Duttons, easy to do business with.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Whether it's the latest Samsung Galaxy S24 or the latest Apple iPhone 15, Harvey Norman has you covered. Head in store to sign up to a new up to $69 a month, 24-month SIM-only plan. And you'll get unlimited calls and texts to standard numbers and 100 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. Plus, you'll receive an $800 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up. Tell them I sent you and you'll score a further $100 gift card. That's $900 towards your new phone. With a deal this good, there's some fine print. Minimum plan costs $1,656 over 24 months. Maximum of 5 gift cards per account. Recontracts and rate plan changes excluded. Plan cancellation fees apply. See in-store for details.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Getting off the couch, stepping out with new friends, hiking up a hill, or walking around the block. When you choose walking, every step is a victory. Because wherever you're going, walking wins. It doesn't matter how or when or where you do it, for a healthy mind, body and heart, walking wins. Discover more ways to win at walking with the Heart Foundation. Go to walking.org.au.
Introducing the all-electric 7-seat Kia EV9. Silence never felt so loud. Visit kia.com.au to find out more.
Kia, movement that inspires. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny at 24 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
A huge search and rescue operation is continuing off Port Lincoln for 3 people missing from a fishing boat. Senior Constable Matt Brown says a man and a youth was spotted by Polya on a reef near Spilsby Island around 2 a.m. and winched to safety.
Polya and a Challenger aircraft from OzSA have been deployed in the area to assist in the search. And numerous messages across marine radio channels have alerted vessels in the area who are taking part in the search. And about 2 a.m. today, Polya located an upturned boat near Spilsby Island. And 1 man and 1 male youth have been located on a reef and were winched to safety by Polya, and they were taken to hospital where they're being treated for minor injuries. And the search for the 3 missing people will continue today.
A Qantas flight has been forced to shut down an engine mid-flight after taking off from Melbourne overnight. Flight QF781 bound for Perth left Tullamarine, and after an issue with one of the engines, the pilot shut down the engine down and requested a priority landing. Former Qantas pilot Richard de Crepney has told Today it's a rare occurrence, which pilots are well trained for, and these aircraft are designed to safely operate with one engine.
Bad luck. That's why you have pilots in the cockpit. You put a bit of rudder in and you're on descent, so there's idle thrust. It's as though the passengers wouldn't have known the engine had been shut down because you have idle thrust all the way from top of descent to landing.
We're still a few months away from the state budget, but the South Australian Business Chamber is already putting forward their case for payroll tax reform. A 6-point recommendation has been handed to the Treasurer. It covers changes to the threshold and discounts for regional businesses to better compete with their interstate counterparts. CEO Andrew Kay says the tax needs an overhaul.
We recognise that it is part of the revenue stream for government, but they have had a bit of a windfall in recent years as wages have grown. If you look at where their budget is now compared to where they would have thought it would be a few years ago, there's certainly been significant growth in payroll tax. So we're suggesting it's time to deliver some of that back to help businesses through what is a very difficult and challenging time.
Planned vehicle efficiency standards are expected to be made less ambitious as the federal government faces a political fight over the issue. Labor wants to force manufacturers to import more electric and low-emission cars. The revised plan will give car companies more time to comply with the new rules after they threaten to jack up prices. Senior Government Minister Amanda Rishworth says Labor is taking industry concerns on board.
We put out a fuel efficiency model, which was our preferred option, but we said very clearly that we would consult and, of course, take into consideration different perspectives from industry put forward. So we're working through that.
Adelaide icon Charlesworth Nuts is celebrating its 90th birthday today. The chocolate and nut shop was started as a small stall in the Adelaide Central Market by Herb and his wife Doris and still operates today. And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderroll.com.au.
And now here's Tom Redden.
Thank you, Graham. A bit of breaking news, exciting news for Test cricket fans. Next summer's highly anticipated Border-Gavaskar series between Australia and India has been extended to 5 Test matches. It's the first time since India toured in 91-92, when Shane Warne debuted, that there will be more than 4 Test matches in the series. Meantime, former Aussie batter Aaron Finch believes Travis Head should replace Steve Smith at the top of the order. Smith averages less than 30 with the bat after replacing Dave Warner in January. Finch says a reshuffle is needed for next summer's series against India, with Smith returning to the middle order.
You could slot back in maybe at number 4 or 5, and wouldn't be surprised if Travis Head went to the top of the order. I think the left-hand combination that Warner and Khawaja had was dynamic and successful, so wouldn't be surprised if Travis Head gets back to the top of the order in Test cricket. And
let's go to football, and Adelaide's players will train this morning ahead of Friday night's critical clash against Fremantle in Perth. The Crows desperate to avoid a 0-3 start to the season in what will be Brodie Smith's 250th game. Well, the Socceroos will make up to half a dozen changes for tonight's World Cup qualifier against Lebanon in Canberra. Meanwhile, the Matildas are continuing preparations for the Paris Olympics. And Andy Murray has made an emotional admission after bowing out of the Miami Open in the 3rd round. He's declared he's looking forward to the end as his career draws closer to a conclusion. Meantime, wins for Aussies Chris O'Connell and Alex de Minaur, who are through to the round of 16 in that tournament. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
At Richmond, burst water main South Road near James Cogden Drive. Left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed there. Speeds at 40. In the city, another burst water main. This one's on the corner of Hutt Street and Angus Street. Road is breaking up, so avoid that. And a truck v car crash at Glandor, Anzac Highway near the South Road underpass. Slow for works at Glenelg North, Anzac Highway near Douglas Grove with a camera of Fisher Street at Marvin. At local sellers, Great Northern Super Crisp 3.5%, 330ml bottles or 375ml cans. 24-pack, any 2 for $99. Ends today. Drink responsibly. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast. Mostly sunny and 24 today. Tomorrow sunny 25. Thursday sunny 27. Friday 29 and sunny. Right now it's 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. The Mitsubishi Good to Go giveaway ends 31st of March. Get up to $4,000 in added value on selected models. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, we're just talking about Charlesworth. In fact, we're about to talk to Charlesworth. It's official. South Australians nuts for Charlesworth nuts. That's why they've been serving us the best and freshest nuts, fruits and chocolates for 90 years.
That's right. Charlesworth Nuts is 90 years young. From a humble stall in Adelaide's Central Market to a citywide empire, time flies when you're having nuts. For 4 generations, South Australia's own Charlesworth family has reigned as nut royalty, and they are showing no signs of slowing down, as you're about to hear.
That's right, they're still family-owned, still South Australian to the core. Be sure to wish them a happy birthday. The occasion falls just in time for Easter, a perfect time to treat friends, family or yourself to a sweet or savoury treat.
Visit one of 11 stores or simply order online at charlesworthnuts.com.au because fresh nuts taste better.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 to 9, as you've just heard. In the build-up to Easter, the Charlesworth Nuts, a pretty common place to get your chocolate nut fix for the long weekend. But today they celebrate a remarkable milestone and achievement, 90 years in business. The CEO is Brett Charlesworth, and he joins us on the line. Brett, good morning to you.
G'day, David and Will. How are you, boys?
We're good, Brett. You occupy that pantheon of great SA businesses, you know, Coopers, Villies. Charlesworth, you think nuts, you think Charlesworth. Tell us a bit about where did it kick off? Where was the first factory and where was the first retail outlet?
It all started at the Central Market, boys, in the city there, which, you know, as you guys know too well, it's just a fantastic place. We started on this day in 1934. My grandfather and grandmother, Herbert and Doris, bought a little nut stall in the Central Market and named it Charlesworth Nuts. And that kicked off our business, and here we are 90 years later.
So what caused it to grow beyond the Central Markets, Brett? When did that happen?
So my father took over in the late 40s and worked through until the late 70s. He sort of reluctantly came into the business, so when my brother and I, Mark, when we left school in the late 70s, he decided that he'd like to move on. So basically, he left the business at that point and left it to Mark and I, and just said, I'm off, boys. Don't stuff it up. And we took over at that stage, and Mark and I were really keen to build the business. Starting in the late 70s. So we opened our factory here at Marion. I think it was in '78. And just have started building it ever since. We started chocolate coating, glazing our products, cooking them all, making our mixes. Then in later years, we started doing all of our gift lines. Throughout the 80s, we started adding a lot more shops into the range. So, I guess that's the period where the business really started to grow.
How many shops have you got now?
So 11 shops at the moment, 10 retail stores and our factory location. So, all in South Australia. We've chosen to really focus on South Australia. We love it here. We're online all around Australia, but the shops themselves just here locally.
You must have had times over the course of the journey when interstate interests or international interests wanted to procure the business. Did it ever come close to leaving family hands?
No. So you're quite right. There's been many times we've been approached, but no, it's never come close to leaving family hands because it's so much more than just a business. So much more than just a commodity to buy and sell. It's us. It's our lives. It's our family. It's all the people who work for us. We've built something that we're really proud of and we think is really special. And so, it's never entered our minds to sell, and it's certainly not going to be the case going forward.
Brett, we've got one of your longest-serving employees on the line, Nadine, who's worked at Charlesworth for more than 35 years. Nadine, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you at the Central Market store?
Oh, no, I left about 12 years ago, but I've worked in the market for 35 years. And I loved it.
We would have seen each other back in the 80s because I was working at McMahon's.
That's right. I used to see you running around there.
It's such a good spot to work, isn't it? It's a crazy place.
It is.
A lot of fun.
Yep.
What's your favourite Charlesworth nut, Nadine? What did you go to?
Well, believe it or not, it's still the old peanut.
Really?
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, I love the peanut best of all, especially in the olden days when they were so much bigger, and we used to get them from Queensland, Kingaroy, and they were beautiful peanuts.
It's Sir Joe Bjelke-Peterson country.
Yes, that's right.
Are you a skin-on or skin-off person with the peanut, Nadine?
Oh, I just loved them from the word go.
Yeah.
We used to cook them non-stop. On Friday morning, we used to have 2 roasters going non-stop all day with peanuts and peanuts in the shell.
It must be exhausting working in the Central Market. You did it for so many years as well, because your store is so busy.
It wasn't easy, and when I first started, I couldn't believe that the number of people that bought nuts.
Unbelievable.
It's something that's endured because, you think about pie floaters are sort of becoming harder to find. A lot of food trends have changed, but nuts have, they've still got a place in everyone's heart.
I think it's got bigger and bigger. I mean, the people are realising how much goodness there are in nuts, and when I started there, they only had 2 mixes at Charlesworth. Well, now I think I've got about 15 or more different mixes. Different nuts have been promoted. Chocolates have come on. I've seen so much advancement in the company, and they've been such a great mob to work for.
Have you ever tried the market mix, Nadine, the one they only do in there at the market?
I've tried everything. Well, that was one thing, we were allowed to sample what we did, and we didn't do a bad job on it at times either.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, to you, Nadine, and to you, Brett, congratulations. 90 years. It's a good knock. Bring on the century as well.
Yeah.
Charlesworth will still be around, but we love celebrating our iconic South Australian brands here on 5AA.
You made the great point at the start. They sit proudly among those, don't they? When you're talking R.M. Williams and
Penfolds.
I wonder how many of those there actually. Would there be 20 businesses?
Yeah. We could do a list at some point.
How many of the truly iconic South Australian businesses that have got pedigree?
I reckon it's a really uniquely South Australian thing as well. Like in Sydney, no one gets that misty-eyed about stuff. Maybe because it's such a big place.
Yeah.
You get a few people get worked up about like Resch's beer and things like that. But most of it, there's none of that pride that we've got here. It's really
well,
pronounced
because
here.
they are unique not just because of their longevity, but they still call South Australia home without being corny about it.
Yeah.
Where in New South Wales, you've got Hewlett-Packard turning up, or Google, or like there's always this rotation of the world's biggest businesses calling it home. Well, you have to make a choice as a business to say our headquarters are going to be in Adelaide.
Yeah.
And it's probably because of your history here.
Yeah.
So we're always going to cherish those businesses more, I suspect.
A good indicator, I think, is the shop at the airport, you know, with all the Adelaide, South Australian stuff, like the Hague's chocolates, another one you'd throw in there too. Like, you know,
completely. Yeah.
It is an impressive lineup, and the thing is, when you taste all this stuff, you go, oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Maria sent us a nice text on the Duttons text line. Maria says, good morning. My first experience with Charlesworth nuts was way back in 1967 when every Saturday morning was shopping day at the Central Markets. My mum and two brothers went there for the weekly shopping. The smell of the fresh roasted nut was incredibly yummy. Mum would buy us a bag of nuts, and then we waited for her near a barber shop while she did her shopping. We emigrated that year from Calabria and have called Australia home. My personal favourite, the scorched almonds. Good on you, Maria.
What Nadine said, one of the best things about working at the market too was everyone got to know each other. So during your lunch break, you just walk past, like Ernie Sigley's son actually worked at a
Right.
bakery. He'd give me a roll. I'd walk past Cons, say, can I just get a couple of slices of salami? And go past Charlesworth, you know, they'd give you a handful of nuts.
Yeah. Did you get on well with the Charlesworth staff?
I did. There was a woman there called Jack, who
Jack.
I used to chat to quite a lot in the late 80s.
If you're out there, Jack, give us a call.
What are you doing?
I'm just saying. Be good to reconnect.
But it was like this bartering system, you know. Give them a peacherine when they walk past McMahon's.
Beautiful.
Hope Steph's not listening. He might tell me I owe him 40 cents.
I'm sure it still goes on. Any memories? We love to hear them, like Maria's. 8223 or text us on the Duttons text line. We're going to check traffic in the meantime. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay sun smart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will. In the city, a burst water main on the corner of Hutt Street and Angus Street. Road is breaking up there, so avoid that. Glandore, truck v car on Anzac Highway near the South Road underpass. And Richmond, burst water main South Road near James Cogden Drive. Left-hand turning lane on Deakin Avenue is closed. Speeds at 40 k's. Slow Marion Road, Marion, with a camera Grand Junction Road at Hope Valley. Fill up Shell V Power 98, the premium fuel designed to deliver greater efficiency and improve performance. It's a decision you can feel good about. Details online. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings today, we will keep you up to date with the search for 3 people missing off the coast of Port Lincoln in a boat that capsized overnight. Also, the acute bed shortage in our hospitals. Patients in beds, in corridors, at Flinders, just not good enough. And for the caller of the morning today, a $100 Charlesworth nut voucher. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Around 2,300 Australian children live with childhood dementia. But where there's hardship, there's local legends hard at work. Little Heroes Foundation is dedicated to finding treatments and, in time, a cure for childhood dementia. They're teaming up with High Fresh Salads so you too can make a difference. Purchase any High Fresh Salads products with the Little Heroes Foundation logo, and a portion of the proceeds support children living with dementia. Find High Fresh Salads at your local independent supermarket and greengrocer.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
The Fish Factory want to wish you all a safe and happy Easter. If fresh seafood is always a feature of your Easter feasts, make sure you check out the Fish Factory.
The Fish Factory process their fish direct from the fishing boats. You can't get fresher fish unless you eat it on the boat.
And it's crayfish season, so you can buy it live or get it freshly cooked in the shop. There's SA West Coast oysters too, freshly opened on the premises, and SA King prawns, cooked or green.
For the barbecue, there's whole fish like barramundi, kingfish, Atlantic salmon and more. So if you're short on time, just choose freshly filleted fish and frozen products.
You'll find it all at the Fish Factory, fully South Australian owned and family run for over 40 years. Visit the Fish Factory on Grand Junction Road, Athol Park, open all week including Easter Friday, Good Friday and Easter Saturday. Only closed Easter Sunday and Monday.
The earth-shaking, record-breaking 500km/h Australian Top Fuel Championship is returning to the Dragway at the Bend for the River Bend Nationals. Experience the fastest accelerating machines on earth battling it out along with top door slammers, pro stocks, sportsman finals and the Hooligan Stunt Show. It's the ultimate in motorsport entertainment over 3 huge days. Friday 5th to Sunday 7th April. Tickets from $30, kids 15 and under enter free. Visit thebend.com.au.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 9, we received an intriguing call from Yuri just before 8:30 this morning with regard to a burst water main that had opened up the road and was causing some issues. We've sent Sam Daddo to the scene. You can watch along if you're intrigued by what he's seeing down there on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. We're just having a look now, Sam. The road it almost looks like it's been pouring with rain there.
That's correct, guys. I'm on the corner of Hutt Street and Angus Street. The delays don't seem too bad. If you're heading south down Hutt Street, that's going to be your main worry because it's down to one lane. So what happened, Yuri was spot on, the road has broken up. But what it seems to have done in a seam of where the asphalt comes together, the burst water main has lifted a part of the road. So around about a 2 metre long sort of a seam within the asphalt, you can see all the water bubbling up, which is causing a bit of a mess across the intersection here on the corner of Angus Street and Hutt Street. But as I said, the delays don't look too long. SA water crews look to be getting ready to get underway just after peak hour is finished. They're shutting off some of the water mains around here. So if you're in the area, you live in the area, you might be out of water shortly. But as I said, the delays don't look too bad just heading south down Hutt Street.
It's a hell of a lot of water on the road.
Yeah, it is.
When you consider we haven't had rain for a long time.
No.
Or anything significant in any case.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it certainly is. Hey, we got a $100 Charlesworth Nuts voucher to give away. Charlesworth Nuts, 90 years young, still family owned, as you heard. They've had opportunities to sell out, but said that's not for us. They're still South Australian, still the best nuts, fruit and chocolate. We're getting some people starting to nominate other South Australian icons, iconic brands, iconic South Australian businesses. So for the Charlesworth Nuts, nominate one for us, and we'll give away the $100 gift to someone who calls in on 8223 0000. For example, Dutton's text, hi there, another icon in South Australia is Ollie Ashenden, Children's Shoes, have just celebrated their 50th birthday this month. I was in there, if not this month, last month, getting Rosie's first ever pair of shoes. I think the people who work there are the most patient human beings on the planet.
How did that go?
It was hard work it was hard work for us, but they just seem to take it in their stride. There's a little system. The kids walk up the ramp, and when it comes to the shoes, I was thinking this is going to be unachievable, but they just know how to do it. That's what happens when you've been there doing it for 50 years, I think. But she was.
You got to keep.
I'll be
those
honest
shoes.
with you, she was a nightmare. But the people who work there, they're fine.
Are they little buckle up ones?
Little straps. Yep.
Yeah. Or are they sneakers, or are they little dress shoes?
More like little sneakers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she
with the
clomps
Velcro
around there now. She loves it. But she's more interested in wearing everyone else's adult shoes in the house. She walks around in everyone else's shoes.
Well, like putting on your
truly bizarre. She puts on my thongs and sort of strides around them. It's really weird. But yeah, it is. They are an SA icon. So other South Australian businesses that are iconic. I was wondering, could we get to 20? Is there 20 out there? Phil has called in. Morning to you, Phil.
Yeah, my great-grandfather came out in the 1860s and started work at Michelle Woolen Mills when they were started on Daly up in the Clare Valley, and they're still going 154 years later. They're out at Salisbury now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Phil.
That's a good one, Phil.
Greg in West Croydon, good morning.
Good morning. My nomination is Q-Saws, Athol Street, Athol Park. They've been around for a long time, but the silly part is they're closing up shortly because the electricity's gone through the roof, and most of the work is going into state, and people are doing a throwaway society.
Yeah, that is a great shame. Thank you, Greg. Ian in Morphett Vale, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd like to nominate Balfour's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Balfour's, hard to go past them. Dean in Parafield Gardens, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Golden North Ice Cream, the South Australian icon. When you go to the Royal Show, you can't get within 10 deep most of the day, and the other ice creams just don't match up.
Don't measure up. Good on you, Dean. Someone texted in Crawford Motors celebrating 90 years this year. I reckon once you get to 90 years, You're in rare air. Think of a business that started. Think of the era compared to now. Think of Charlesworth starting in 1934.
And now talking to them today, so much of their sales come from online shopping.
Yeah, you've just come out of the Great Depression. You're in the 30s.
Here's one.
World War II's is more than a decade away from ending.
Perryman's Bakery in North Adelaide.
Oh, I love Perryman's.
I'll just Pavlovian response. Now that I've read the words Perryman's Bakery, I reckon I'm probably going to go there for lunch.
I hate driving into the city to do anything, but if the suggestion ever is, should we just go get some Perryman's pasties? Yes, that happens.
Would have to be the most
Great
famous sort of independent family-owned bakery of the small bakeries in South Australia. Well, I don't know.
That might be a talk.
Port Elliot
the other day.
Port Elliot Bakery.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yankalilla. There's some.
Port Elliot has the biggest line of any bakery.
What about the queue there?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
It's extraordinary.
Paul, good morning.
Hello, Paul.
Grundy.
You there, Paul?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we've got you. What's your business?
Yeah, Grundy's Shoes in Rundle Street, coming up on 100 years.
Yeah.
Family business, and a lot of history. They've got a small museum in the shop as well. Well worth a chat to them about plans for their 100th celebration.
All right, we'll do that, Paul. Thank you. Sue in Inglefarm, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I was thinking of Bickford's cordials. I think they're around 160, 170 years old.
That's just hard to wrap your head around, that period of time.
Bickford's cordial, they've expanded their range too.
They have.
Have you had their passion fruit and pineapple cordial?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it is the bomb.
Wow.
Really good.
I wouldn't have thought of you as a passionate fruit and pineapple guy. Hey, Deborah, good morning.
Yes, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, Southcott's Engineering's been around for over 100 years.
Okay, where are they?
Mick, where were they? So my husband worked for them in the city.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Come on,
right.
Mick, where are they?
And now they're at Apple Park.
Okay. Oh, good stuff. Thank
Good
you,
on 'em.
Deborah, and thank you, Mick, as well. That was excellent.
Hello,
We
Luce.
always love the live radio assist. Morning, Luce.
Hello, I've just had text from our own Michael Keelan. He says Heine's Nursery is 7th generation, one of the oldest companies in Australia.
Heine's Nursery on the parade.
Yeah, Norwood there.
Yeah. Beautiful nursery. Huge range.
Just on another topic quickly, Kylie rang in. If you are in the top of Port Road, Hindmarsh vicinity, will your folks there at Channel 7, the traffic lights are flashing right on that intersection. No police directing traffic, so be careful if you're trying to get
Big
through
intersection there too.
that intersection. Traffic lights are out. I'm not sure if it's every light there, but just top of Port Road in Hindmarsh, just be careful going through there.
All right, good advice. Thank you for that, Luce. We need to give away this $100 worth of Charlesworth nuts, the voucher. Go a long way, get you a lot of nuts, and have a lot of fun consuming those over the Easter long weekend. Charlesworth nuts, 90 years young, still family owned, still South Australian, still the best nuts, fruit and chocolate. Who do we like?
I reckon let's give it to Dean from Parafield Gardens.
Dean from Parafield Gardens. How many did we get to in the end?
Well,
I reckon if we did it for another 5 minutes, we would get another.
We had more than a dozen. Penfolds, Coopers, Haigs, Charlesworth, Golden North, Balfours, Perryman's, Grundy's, Heine's, a whole bunch of random engineering businesses.
Engineering being over 100 years. Shoes and nuts have sort of stayed largely the same, but I reckon the world of engineering has undergone some changes in the last century.
I've been a bit distracted for the last couple of minutes. Apparently the Immigration Department, and this is in light of all of the
breaking
inquiries and breaking it out, apparently they've written to the Grigg family saying, we're sorry, there's nothing that can be done about this. The only way your wife can stay in Australia is if she first leaves Australia and applies again for a visa from somewhere overseas.
You're kidding.
No. And apparently there's no, because it's legislated, because that rule is legislated, apparently the minister doesn't have the power to override it. And he's saying, my hands are tied. What level of turbocharged pedantry are we going to put up with in this country? That this poor woman, I mean, what, she goes to New Zealand and sits around waiting for them to read the application at the Immigration Department. I mean, it's going to break, it's going to split this family apart.
What an embarrassment for this country.
Surely, like, if that's the legislation, can't Andrew Giles have a quiet word to the opposition today and say, look, we need to sort this out. We need to have an exemption rush through Parliament or something. But it's just so dumb. So they're going to make these people, kick them out of the country. They've got to pay as well. They got school-aged children. So this poor woman, currently working at Southern Cross Care, just trying to go to work, do a job, they've been told officially, you've got to leave Australia and reapply.
They're a basket case, this department.
Meanwhile, how many unchecked people did they let in from Gaza in the last month or 2 months?
That's outrageous, that story. We might follow that and have more on it tomorrow morning.
That is a joke.
It is a complete joke. We're out of time. Matthew Pantelis is coming up. Stay with us on 5AA, and we'll be back tomorrow.